is some of the velocity. And again, the hotter velocities are right in through here. And again, stretching from near Haleyville down to about Brilliant. And again, remember, as you look at these wind velocity, these are about 1,000 to 2,000 feet off the ground. The radar beam is coming from Columbus Air Force Base. So there's a 69 per hour wind gust down at Millport at radar beam height. So down at the surface, the winds are probably in the 60, 65 mile per hour bracket in through here. But again, that's clearly enough to bring down some trees and power lines. And that will be sweeping into Winston, Walker, and Fayette counties. But Riley, let's look at the big picture since so many people are watching in the Tennessee Valley as well. We're going to include everybody in the northern half of the state today. And let me just say, the concern, it's the northern half of the state. South Alabama, it's a beautiful day. If you're in Greenville, Evergreen, Montgomery, Gulf Shores, Mobile, you're good. But let's look at the Tennessee Valley. Riley, we're going to kind of show the whole state here. I want to, there we go, thank you. So if you're up here in the show, in fact, let's begin with a big wide view. I want to show just kind of the northern half of the state here. And expand it out a little bit more so we can see down below, down to Tuscaloosa. We want to go from the state line to Tuscaloosa. That's about the area we want to see here. So the line itself is running from now near Florence and the Shoals down into western Lawrence County, west of Moulton. And let me just say that really and truly for most of western Lauderdale, western Colbert, western Franklin, it's on past you. Once it's past you, you're done for the afternoon in terms of the severe threat. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect in advance of the line for western Lauderdale, for eastern Lauderdale, almost all of Limestone County, the western part of Morgan County, most all of Lawrence County, northwestern Cullman County, all of Winston, Walker counties, all of Fayette County, and then much of Lamar County, and also parts of Pickens County, the northern half of Pickens County. So again, just wanted to show that big expansive view of the line. The higher wind velocities are really and truly south of US 278. Still, having said that, it looks like there's a little bookend vortex up and through here. Sometimes with that, you can see some stronger winds. So even up in the Tennessee Valley, Florence, Rogersville, Athens, Decatur, Huntsville, Scottsboro, you could see winds in the 40, 45, maybe 50 mile per hour bracket. And I would imagine we're going to see severe thunderstorm warnings for every county in advance of this. And down to the south, the instability values are higher, and this is where the greater wind velocities will likely be. So let's take a closer look at the storms coming into Haleyville right now. And again, you can see that line running from southwestern Lawrence County, Moulton is here, right down through Haleyville, which is right here. And again, Bear Creek is over here, and then curving down into the far southeastern part of Marion County, down toward Brilliant, and then down toward Hubbardsville, Fayette, and into Lamar counties. And again, this is at beam height, these wind velocities, not at the surface, but at the surface we could see winds probably maybe higher than that. There's a 72, which would probably equate to about a 60 mile per hour wind gust at the surface. And again, that's going to be coming into places like Double Springs, Lynn, Nauvoo, Eldridge, Carbon Hill, Kansas. And let's kind of keep going down the line here. Don't want to leave anybody out. Again, you can see Hubbardsville is here, stronger winds there, stronger winds coming into Fayette now, downtown Fayette. And then ultimately on down into parts of Lamar and extreme northern Pickens counties in West Alabama. So, and I think Theo is back at the switcher here. So Theo, in just a second, I'm going to punch up some video and we can take a look at what it looks like in northwest Alabama.
Also, James, we're getting reports from emergency managers. Trees, power lines down in Sulligent, Detroit, Vernon, and we already talked about 1 mile west-northwest of the Rankin Fight Airport in Marion County.
Right, and that's the airport in Hamilton. So yeah, that's an example of what, and again, that's coming from, I want to say that's up in Haleyville in Winston County, so just wanted to show that. So Riley, we've had reports of damage back in Mississippi too, right?
Yes, we have, and it's actually pretty rare to see this kind of warning, but we had a destructive tag on a severe thunderstorm warning for Monroe County. That is now being canceled, but, you know, that's real close to the radar site, so they can basically see the surface winds, and it looked wicked on radar, I will say, and that's the line that's pushing through right now, stretching from Haleyville, starting to see a lot of lightning strikes as well, Carbon Hill, Fayette, Millport, and remember, the atmosphere today is pretty volatile, not in terms of like springtime, but it's summertime. It's hot, it's humid, storms are going to fire up, and they're going to likely be strong to even severe, and that's what we're seeing really right now. Already have several downstream warnings for Walker County, even though it's not in Jasper yet. Dora butting right up against Jefferson County, and I believe they are talking about a warning eventually coming for the northern portion of Tuscaloosa County.
I think everybody's going to have a warning. It's a given. Everybody's going to have a warning today in advance of this. Hey, let's go back to WEX 05 real quick, Theo. This is going to be more video from the storms up in northwest Alabama. And again, this is what folks are dealing with up and through there today. This is an image that has come in, and again, this is showing apparently a big tree limb came down on a Jeep. And this is the one thing we encourage folks not to be doing today is driving, if at all possible. I understand that in some cases it just happens. But again, it's pretty dangerous to be driving in these type storms with this type wind. And again, this is in Winfield. A tree came down on a Jeep while driving from that severe thunderstorm. I've heard of no specific injuries there. And again, this is some more video that is coming in from northwest Alabama, an example of what folks are dealing with in through here this afternoon.
There's the warning for Tuscaloosa County, which is the entire county.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's going to be under a warning today. So let's go back to the radar, kind of do a reset here. We're live at 1:25. And again, we've got a line of severe storms pushing through northwest Alabama. And again, let's include the Tennessee Valley. We've got everybody watching on the digital side here, so we have no boundaries. So here we go. The line of storms stretching now from a little east of Florence toward Killen, then down into the western part of Lawrence County around Hatton, then down to Haleyville in Winston County, then curving down to Winfield in Marion County, Fayette in Fayette County, Millport and Kennedy in Lamar County. In advance of this line, you can see that we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for everybody. I mean, we've got them lined up from Limestone County down to parts of Morgan, northwestern Cullman, Winston, Walker, Tuscaloosa, northern Fayette, or northern Pickens, Fayette County. Everybody in advance of this line is under a severe thunderstorm warning. And it's a day where you want to be sure that you pay close attention to severe thunderstorm warnings, in that we're going to have a lot of these today, and you do not want to be outside.
James, they're talking about a three-body scatter hail spike near Millport. This right over Fernbank, it looks like right now.
Indeed. And again, that's so in spots, we're going to see some pretty large hail. In fact, let's can we look at VIL here instead of the, this is the correlation coefficient. We go to VIL, vertical integrated liquid, we'll be able to see that a little better.
Let's see.
And yeah, there we go. That's where we've got some indications of pretty large hail. Again, this is Highway 96 right here coming out of Millport back up toward Kennedy. Highway 96 goes back over to Fayette, and also the chance of some large hail just north of Highway 96, and this is in southern Lamar County. So again, that's what's happening in southern Lamar. Let's go back to, let's see, hang on one second, Theo. Let's go back to WEX 05. And again, these are some images that are from Marion County, and this is just an example of what has been seen with these storms this afternoon, and this is what you can expect if you're in advance of the line of storms. All of these images taken here within the last 10 to 15 minutes. And again, you can see there's a lot of trees down in Hamilton. All of this is coming in from Marion County. And again, the big concern, it's trees coming down. And understand sometimes trees come down on cars and homes. And so you want to take these severe thunderstorm warnings pretty seriously today. So let's go back to the radar. We got a line of severe storms over northwest Alabama. The higher velocities coming through the western part of Winston County. Haleyville is here. And again, those higher velocities are basically right in through here. And again, you can see they're in the far southeastern part of Marion. If you're in Hamilton, the risk of severe weather is ended for you. If you're up here in Sulligent, the risk of severe storms is ended for you. The storm's now stretching from near Double Springs, really, in Winston County, and they're approaching Smith Lake. And let me just say this, you do not want to be on a boat, okay, when this stuff comes through. You do not want to be on a boat. So if you know somebody on a boat on Smith Lake, call them and tell them to get in right now. This line means business. But again, the higher wind velocities are right in through here, approaching the western shore of Smith Lake from near Double Springs, then back down to about Lynn, Nauvoo, Eldridge, Carbon Hill, Hubbardville, approaching Berry in eastern Fayette County, then into northern Pickens County down toward Reform and Coalfire and Ethelsville. We'll put the reflectivity back on here just to kind of show the broad, what you're used to seeing on your phone radar here. And again, this whole thing, we call this an MCS, mesoscale convective system, will be sweeping through the northern half of the state for the rest of this afternoon. In terms of the timing, I'd say the storm should be in Huntsville by 2 o'clock or so. In the Birmingham Metro, probably 2 to 3 o'clock. Tuscaloosa around 2 o'clock, and then Anniston, Gadsden later this afternoon. And the greatest concern with this will be within the severe thunderstorm watch. In fact, Riley, if we can put that up real quick, the severe thunderstorm watch that's in effect for North Alabama, this will show the southern extent of that watch. The southern extent runs down to Pickens and Tuscaloosa, Jefferson, Shelby, Talladega, Clay, and Randolph counties. That's your severe thunderstorm watch until 6 o'clock. If you're south of this, you might not see a single drop of rain this afternoon. This is going to be a fairly compact thunderstorm mass for these counties this afternoon. And again, the risk of severe storms has already ended. This line is moving at 55 miles per hour, so it's going to come through quick. Riley, really quick, which is good.
It's good, but it could also kind of increase that overall wind threat. So that's something to kind of be concerned with. But new severe thunderstorm warning, I think it's just a continuation. They've upped it to 70 miles per hour, which is that's pretty wicked. Now, I'm going to try to get some time of arrivals on the screen. I have to change it to 55, not 45, and change that just to give folks an idea. So they're generally moving east, southeast. So Jasper, give it 20 minutes. Coleman, I'd probably say 30 or so minutes. Tuscaloosa, Northport, 2 o'clock, basically like you're saying, James, but 55 miles per hour. They're in, they hit, they're gone, which is, it is good news in that sense.
Right, and so again, it's going to be a pretty quick hitting line this afternoon. So again, we're at 1:31, and we are watching our Skywatcher chat. We are watching a lot of different views here of these storms. And again, most everything I've seen, it involves tree and power line damage, and we're probably starting to see an increase in the number of power outages on the western side of the state.
I can get that pulled up.
Yeah, the last time I looked at it, the numbers were about 1,200, and that was in, but again, that was probably 30 minutes ago. But clearly, the bulk of the power outages are in Marion and Lamar. The good thing about it, for those of you in the Shoals, the storms are weaker in the Tennessee Valley. The wind velocities are not as strong coming through Florence, Sheffield, Killen, Rogersville, Moulton, places like that. You could see winds at 40, 45, but really we're just not showing that much in the way of power outages here. The greater wind velocities are down to the south, and again, you can see in Marion County, 2,500 without power, 1,000 without power in Lamar County. And again, that will be one issue we'll be dealing with this afternoon. It is power outages.
Yep. Trees and power lines down in the Hamilton area coming in from, it says from the public, but also seen emergency managers report that as well.
Yeah, in fact, look at WEX 05. I think they're watching us. That's where they saw that, was the pictures we're showing you. This is what it looks like in Hamilton. And again, I'm sure the Weather Service is monitoring our stream down there, and that's probably where that report came from us. And again, these images were taken up in Hamilton here in the last 15, 30 minutes. And again, that's the reason so many people are currently without power. And good news, we've heard of nobody injured. But again, the key message is the fact that we certainly do not want people driving or on a boat on a waterway with this kind of thing going on here today. And that the winds could gust in spots, straight line winds, up to 50, 60, maybe in a few spots up to 70 miles an hour. That's basically hurricane force. In fact, this is in Winfield, and you can see it looks like a large tree limb came down on a Jeep. And again, we've heard of no specific injuries there, but that happened as the line of storms was sweeping through Winfield this afternoon. And again, this is some more of the video coming in, I want to say, from Haleyville up in Winston County. Same kind of thing, just torrents of rain, very frequent lightning. And listen, let's not underplay the lightning. I'm afraid of one thing when it comes to weather, and it's lightning. I mean, lightning is frightening. It's with these storms, just hundreds and hundreds of ground strokes, and you just want to be inside until these things pass. So let's go back to the radar here. Again, we're watching a line of severe storms in northwest Alabama. The higher wind velocities are concentrated right in through here, through parts of Winston and Walker counties. The line itself is coming through Eldridge, Kansas, Carbon Hill, now approaching the western shore of Smith Lake. It's coming through Double Springs and Winston County. And again, if you're in the Tennessee Valley, in Limestone and Morgan counties, you're under severe thunderstorm warnings. We're not seeing evidence of the stronger velocities up here, but still, you might see enough wind up in this region to produce winds of maybe 40, 45, 50 miles per hour in spots. But the really stronger velocities are down in through here in the line segment from the western shore of Smith Lake down to Carbon Hill, Berry, Fayette, and Reform in Pickens County. And these will be sweeping through the Tuscaloosa, Birmingham areas within the next hour or two. And again, all of Tuscaloosa County is under a severe thunderstorm warning. All of Walker, all of Winston, northwestern Cullman, all of Limestone, and the western part of Morgan counties in advance of this. If you're in the Shoals, Florence, Sheffield, Tuscumbia, the worst of this is east of you now. So again, from this first batch this afternoon, the risk of severe storms has ended there, which is certainly good news.
And Theo, if you have the chance, if you have a free moment, could you lock into the computer back there and pull up the Carbon Hill algo camera? Because starting to get a little rowdy on that camera right now. Just if you have the chance, I don't know if we could get a producer back here to do that.
We're asking Theo to do a lot here. Theo's a fine American, I'll say that. But Theo, if you can take Wexo 5 real quick, want to show this.
I might could go back there and log into
this.
it.
This is a tree that has come down, and it looks like on a home here. And I'll find out the specific location here. This is going to be in Guin. That happened about 1 o'clock, about 30 minutes ago. So again, that's an example of the things we're dealing with today. That was in Guin. I've heard of no specific injuries. So we'll go back to the radar here. We're at 1:35, and we are with you as we have a line of severe storms coming across the state this afternoon. The storms have been producing strong straight line winds. We're not concerned about tornadoes today, straight line winds, but understand straight line winds with a summer thunderstorm mass like this, they can be really impressive. The air is really unstable. It's hot. Temperatures up there approaching 90 ahead of this line. And with a little ripple in the southern branch of the mid-latitude westerlies, they can really produce some pretty strong winds. And again, the higher velocities are in through here. From Lawrence County north, the velocities are not as high, which is good. If you're in Athens, Moulton, Decatur, it'll be windy, no doubt about that, but the really greater chance of damaging wind, I'd say, would be through parts of Winston, western Walker, eastern southern Fayette, and northern Pickens County. And again, those higher velocities coming right into Smith Lake as we speak.
And James, real quick, I'm going to go back to the watch map. We just got a new update. These will also expire at 6, but the National Weather Service of Birmingham has now extended that watch further down to the south. So for us, Bibb County, Chilton County, Coosa County, Tallapoosa, and Chambers County. So a couple of counties have been added there further south.
Okay, good deal. And again, that's probably the right thing to do in a situation like that. Let's go back to Wexo 5 real quick if we can. We'll take a look at what's happening with this. This is an example of what's going on. This is up in Lauderdale County. This is not too far from Florence and the Shoals. And what do we got there? A little swimming pools there. This is Green Hill, which is not too far from Florence. And again, that's up in Lauderdale County. And again, this is some video that was taken in Guin. And again, this is video of a tree that is on a home that came down, and that's the kind of damage we've seen today. So let's go back to the radar here.
James, if you'll excuse me, I got to go grab my laptop charger.
Okay, I understand. So we're watching a line of severe storms coming through the Tennessee Valley and parts of northwest Alabama. Velocities are not as high up here. If you're in Morgan County, Limestone County, Lawrence, you could see winds gusting to 40, 45. We're just not seeing strong evidence of any specific winds at 50 or 60 at the moment. That could change, understand. But again, looking at the latest power outage map, we are now in Alabama up to 14,000 people with no power. Just about 30 minutes ago, we had 1,100. Now we have 14,000 without electricity. The higher outages are now in Lamar County, where we've got, looks like a total of 3,500 out. Much of Lamar County without power, much of Marion County without power. Outages are increasing in Fayette and Winston counties. You can almost track this line by the power outage count. And these are warning polygons that are all severe thunderstorm warning polygons. And again, on a day like today, we certainly suggest that you pay attention to severe thunderstorm warnings and kind of listen to what we're saying here. And again, this is the latest from the system here that we have in-house. The direct count we're seeing from the power companies, we're at, again, 14,000 statewide. So let's go back to the reflectivity and kind of show the Tennessee Valley and show the northern half of the state again here. As we have a line of severe storms now from the Tennessee state line up here near Lexington and Lauderdale County, then curving down to Moulton and Lawrence County. Velocities are not as high in the Tennessee Valley, which means the winds are probably gusting to 40, 45 up here in most spots. That's still pretty windy, and obviously a lot of thunder, lightning, and heavy rain. The instability values are higher down to the south, and the higher velocities are down to the south. The line of storms coming into Smith Lake, and again, we strongly advise that nobody should be out on a river, a waterway, a lake. I know it's a June Saturday, it's summer, school is out, that's what people do here, but on the other hand, you've got to respect these storms, the lightning and the wind. The wind's going to be ferocious. This could capsize a boat just like that. So hopefully everybody's off of Smith Lake right now. The storms from near Arley and Addison in Winston County approaching Jasper. I don't know if the Jasper Skycam is working, Riley. We might be able to point that thing back to the west that's on top of the King building and see what it looks like from that perspective. And then the storms running down to Berry and Fayette County and then down into northern Pickens County around Gordo and Reform. And understand, everybody in advance of this line is under a severe thunderstorm warning. And that's the way it's going to be today. We do not expect tornado activity. Wind profiles don't favor tornadoes. This is a damaging straight line wind event that is in progress across the state this afternoon.
I think we lost the Jasper cam back on March 15th.
Okay.
It's not currently working, and that's usually one of our more reliable cameras, but yeah, I think that took a pretty big lightning hit back on the 15th of March. But we had a Carbon Hill Algo camera, and I think it lost power, because there's a lot of lightning in this too. I mean, over 1,000 lightning strikes. That's pretty wicked too.
Yep, it is. But you know, the one thing that we do have, and we're so thankful for all the images. Let's go back to WEX 05. I want to say that's from northern Winston County, big tree limb down there. And we're going to see all kind of creepy clouds today with this stuff. And again, on the leading edge of this, we're going to have shelf clouds. And shelf clouds are not related to wall clouds, not related to tornadoes. That's the leading edge of a strong storm. Again, a lot of scenes like that in the sky today. And again, this is video again of the line segment coming through parts of northwest Alabama. And again, you can see torrential rain, pretty gusty winds there. So again, this is some of the damage up in Marion County at Hamilton. So we'll go back to the radar here at 1:41 this Saturday afternoon. And there could be some small hail involved here. We're not seeing that really strong hail core like we saw earlier this afternoon in parts of southern Lamar. But there's your line itself. Coming into Battleground, West Point, northwestern Cullman County, right on top of Smith Lake, the western half of Smith Lake, the Winston County side, the Arley side here. Storms extend down to Carbon Hill and Walker County, down toward Oakman, approaching Jasper and Parrish. Storms coming through eastern Fayette County and around the city of Berry, then down into northern Pickens County, down toward Gordo and Reform. And again, these storms should be in the Tuscaloosa area around 2:15 or so this afternoon, about 30 minutes from now. The Birmingham Metro probably 2:30 to 3 o'clock this afternoon. And with these storms, you can expect straight line winds that could, in spots, gust to 50, maybe 60 miles per hour. And that's enough to bring down trees and power lines. And that's our greatest concern over the course of the day today. Again, 14,000 people statewide are without power in advance of this line. The highest concentration of power outages is over Lamar County. Right behind them is Marion County. We're starting to see outages now in Winston and Fayette counties as well. And again, if you're in the Tennessee Valley watching us here, the intensity, the velocities are not as strong here, which is good. You probably got winds of 40, 45 in here. And again, that's windy. That it could bring down a weakened tree or a diseased tree. But again, the higher velocities are down to the south, but the storms in the Tennessee Valley are coming into Athens and Decatur, Hartselle, Faulkville, and those will continue coming into Huntsville, Sand Mountain, Albertville, Boaz, Gunnersville, Scottsboro here in the next couple of hours. These are, again, moving at 55 miles an hour. These are racing through the state today. The risk of severe weather is ended for Florence, Muscle Shoals, Russellville, Red Bay, Hamilton, Haleyville, Winfield, Guin. You're done with it. Storms are already through there. This is a one and done with this thing this afternoon. Again, there could be another line that forms tonight, but the atmosphere will be totally worked over by this. So understand that it's going to be kind of hard to get a secondary round of severe storms going tonight after all of this afternoon. We'll have rain, cool, stable air. So again, storms are coming into Jasper, and places like Jasper's here. This is Parrish. That's a little, and we do have some cells out ahead of the main line. We should point that out. And you might see some small hail over here, but this is, I know often in the spring we might say, hey, if cells develop out ahead of the line, they could go tornadic. Not in this case. This is not that kind of day. But again, we've got some cells out ahead of that, but the main line itself is right on top of Smith Lake, again up toward Battleground and West Point and Cullman County, down towards Jones Chapel, then curving down to Arley, and then just west of downtown Jasper, then down to Oakman in Walker County, then back down to Berry, and then ultimately into Pickens County around Gordo and Reform. And the greatest problem will be from strong, damaging straight line winds. There could be some small hail involved here. In fact, let's see here. Let's take WEX 05 again if we can. Again, this is an example of what people have been dealing with all across the state today. This is in Millport in Lamar County. The person who sent this said the tree fell in front of my dad on the way home in Millport. And this is why we obviously don't want folks driving while this line is coming through. I know that you got places to go and things to do and people to see and dogs to catch, but listen, if you're driving, you just want to stop, pull off and get into a gas station, a fast food restaurant, just some place until this line passes, and it's not going to take that long. Again, there's a big limb that came down. That's in northern Winston County. But again, this is, I want to show that Jeep we showed earlier. This was earlier today in, I want to say that was near Winfield or Guin in southern Marion County. And again, that's what can happen easily if you're driving in this type of situation. A tree could come down on you, on top of you like that, or you might have a tree on the road that you're not aware of, and you make a turn, there's a tree in the middle of the road, and good things don't happen when that's the situation here. So let's go back to the radar, and this is the kind of day where I can't call out a barbecue joint, I can't call out a barn, I can't call out any specific point because this is just a big widespread bag of wind here. And again, the storms extend from the Tennessee Valley. And again, the velocities are not as high up here. If you're in Limestone, Morgan, Lawrence, Lauderdale, ultimately Madison counties here, it's going to be breezy, no doubt about that. But again, the higher velocities are in the segment down through here from near Smith Lake, right on top of Smith Lake, and I hope everybody got off that water, to downtown Jasper, and then down to about Berry and New Lexington, Brownville, and Tuscaloosa County. And there are your new warnings in effect here. The new severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for parts of Blount, basically all of Blount, it looks like all of Jefferson counties. And again, it's going to be a day where everybody's going to be in a warning. It's just a matter of when do you issue the warning. So again, the Weather Service has now issued severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for all of Blount and all of Jefferson counties for this line of storms. And let's hit a couple of velocities in here real quick. And this is coming off BMX, right, from Birmingham?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
And remember, the beam height here is going to be, that's a 72 mile per hour at beam height, okay? Down at the surface, it will not be quite that windy. The beam is still a couple of thousand feet off the ground here, probably 3,000 feet off the ground. Down at the surface, the wind's probably 60 to 70. But hey, 60 to 70 mile per hour winds, that's a lot. And that could easily bring down trees and power lines. So just be aware, you have the chance of down trees, power lines, and power outages with this line as it comes through places like Jasper, Tuscaloosa, Birmingham, Cullman, Aniana, Blountsville, Locust Fork here in the next hour or so. And let's look up north. I believe we have new warnings in effect for some of the Tennessee Valley counties. And again, same kind of thing here. We've got severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for extreme southern. And again, the city of Huntsville, you're not in a warning. The storms are much weaker up here in northern Madison. The warnings for southern Madison, Marshall, and eastern Morgan and Cullman counties. Thankfully for our friends in Huntsville, the velocities are way down here. So let's go back down to the south. The concern for the greater wind potential, damaging wind potential, will be from, again, really Cullman south. So the line of storms now, Battleground, West Point, Jones Chapel, that's all northwest and west of Cullman, Smith Lake, Arley, then down to Jasper and Walker County, down to Berry and Fayette County, then down to Gordo and Reform and Pickens County. All in advance of this, everybody under a severe thunderstorm warning. And if you are at some kind of outdoor event, and you might be watching me on your fancy phone, and you're watching the live stream, and you're thinking, well, it's sunny and everything's okay here. If you're, for example, if you're in Birmingham, just this is what you're about to deal with, and you really need to get indoors somewhere for several reasons. Number one, the lightning. There's gobs of lightning within this line. And number two, the wind. Straight line winds in spots could be 60, 70 miles an hour, and trees could come down, and you do not want to be outside. If you are on a waterway, if you are on a lake, a river, a creek, if you're out doing some bass fishing, you need to get in. Riley, I don't mean to be a party pooper, but you know what I mean. You got to get in.
I mean, I said it earlier. I wish I was out fishing right now, but I think the fish would even take shelter from this. They're saying in the National Weather Service in Birmingham, if you're at an outdoor event, take shelter. Thunder, lightning. I mean, you say it, James. Lightning is frightening. And, you know, I have a little story about lightning, and I can go ahead and say I was wearing Crocs. Rubbers don't conduct electricity. They saved my life. I was electrocuted with a current that came through a tree. It's not fun. It is a very scary feeling. I was very fortunate, but I mean, lightning doesn't care who you are, where you're at. Lightning's going to strike, and if you're in the wrong place at the wrong time, it's not going to end up well for you. But still over 1,000 lightning strikes. The further south we go, there's less storms, but still a lot of lightning. It seems like it's more so concentrated right here just to the west of Oakman.
Let's go to WEXO 5 real quick. So this is up around Curry, around Duncan Bridge. That's a large tree or a limb that's come down blocking the highway there. This is, again, some of the video from, this is what it looks like. It looks like a landfalling hurricane. Goodness gracious. I mean, that's what it would look like with a landfalling tropical storm or hurricane. And again, this is what folks are going to be dealing with. Listen, if you've not dealt with it, that's what's to come. The social scientists have told us that people don't really understand radar that well, but they understand that. And that's why your pictures are so helpful. And again, we've got so many trees like this. And also, we're going to see some temporary flooding issues. The rain rates are just rather incredible with this. So let's go back to the radar. And again, our greatest concern is with this line that stretches now from just west of Cullman, again out toward West Point Battleground, Vinemont, down right on top of Smith Lake, right on top of Jasper, right on top of Oakman, and then into northern Tuscaloosa County and to parts of northern Pickens County. And it seems like the greater wind velocities are coming through Cullman and Walker counties in through here. Again, specifically, you can see in Walker County, and that's going to be coming right into the very densely Birmingham metropolitan area in the next 30 minutes to 1 hour. And these are wind velocities within the radar beam. And again, this is at beam height, which is a couple thousand feet off the ground. But down at the surface, you could see winds of maybe 50 or 60 miles an hour. And that is certainly enough to bring down some trees and power lines. So we do have some pretty big events going on in Birmingham today, outdoor events, some festivals. And the encouragement here is that everybody should, at this point, stop whatever you're doing outdoors and get in. And again, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for everybody in advance of the line. This would include Marshall County, Blount, Jefferson, Cullman, of course, Walker, and Tuscaloosa and Pickens counties. These are the counties that will be affected next by the line. Again, check out the lightning counter here, 1,270. That's in the last 10 minutes within the northern half of the state. That's a lot. And so lightning is one concern. Damaging wind is the other concern. And this is the kind of day where if you are in advance of this line, if you have a lot of trees around your house, you might want to be near the center in a small room, kind of like the tornado plan, not by an outdoor window, in that if a tree comes down onto your home, a lot of times those branches come right through a window. So being near the center of a home might not be a bad idea with a case like this. We'll put the reflectivity back on real quick. And again, this kind of shows the big picture. And again, let me show the Tennessee Valley real quick, Riley. For those in Huntsville, it's much weaker up here. There's no warning in effect for Huntsville, Hazel Green, Madison. These storms are below severe limits up here. The warnings begin in southern Madison, down into Marshall and Morgan counties, and then down to the south. Just wanted to show that. So again, the storms coming into Cullman could produce damaging straight line winds. They're basically coming into downtown Cullman right now. The storms run down into Walker County. They'll be approaching Dora and Summerton, Sipsey, Empire, Cordova. In Walker County, the eastern part of Walker County here, the storms will be crossing into Jefferson pretty soon, affecting places like Corner, Warrior, Kimberly, Morris, Graysville, Adamsville, Oak Grove, and then ultimately the Birmingham Metro. Storms coming into Blount County will be initially affecting places like Bluntsville and Locust Fork, then ultimately places like Susan Moore, Sneed, Aniana, Rimlat, and these will keep on moving east. Understand, these storms not going to stop. They're going to keep on moving at 55. They don't stop for traffic lights. They don't stop to go to the bathroom. They just keep on going. And these storms will ultimately sweep into Georgia later this afternoon. So let's see here. Want to quickly go back to WEX 05. And this is kind of what the wind has been doing. Look at the damage over there. Ooh. Looks like part of a roof has come off some type of structure there. There's all kind of damage in this shot. I want to say this was taken in Winston County. And again, that's a good example of what this stuff is doing today.
Golly.
And this is all straight line wind damage. So just, I have great concern with that coming into Cullman and Tuscaloosa and Birmingham, these population centers, that we're going to see some more problems here. We'll go back to the radar, and again, we're going to be bouncing back between your images. And how many power outages you got there, Riley? What you got?
I'm not the best at math. You might have to give me a second. So that's 5,075, 9, 14, about almost 15,000 currently right now, I think.
In fact, I'll cheat. I'll look at the raw. We're at 20, statewide now, we're at 27,000.
Oh, yeah, there is a couple up in Florence, Muscle Shoals area.
Right. We're statewide. The highest percentage of outages are now coming from Winston and from Lamar counties. But again, statewide, we've got 27,398 without power. All right, let's go back to WEX 05. And again, on the leading edge of the storms, you're going to see shelf clouds. These are shelf clouds. And again, that's nothing to do with a tornado or a wall cloud. That's a shelf cloud. And again, we're kind of watching all this together. And yeah, there's another big tree limb that's come down. And we're going to see a lot of this today. We're going to see a lot of tree and power line damage with these storms. And again, we've seen a lot of trees down in every county within this line. This is not limited to one county. Again, this is this is an example of what people have been dealing with. That damage up in Winston County as the line came through there. And again, we just have great concern that as the line comes through these population centers, that we're going to see a lot of reports of damage. So we'll go back to the radar here. We're coming up on 2 o'clock. And again, this is James Spann with Riley Blackwell. We are working an organized batch of severe storms coming through the northern half of Alabama with damaging straight line winds. Again, these winds have knocked down trees and power lines. They've knocked out power to a lot of folks in North and West Alabama. Let's go back to WEX 05 really quickly. And again, we're seeing more and more of this. You don't want to be driving today and within this line. I'll just say that. This is not the day to be driving. This is Highway 118, the old U.S. Highway 78 in Carbon Hill. And a tree has blocked the road there. And understand, if you're driving within this line, the tree could come down on top of you. We've had that happen today. Or you could turn around a bend and all of a sudden there's a big tree in the road that you don't know about. And if you're not paying close attention, that could be a big problem. So again, that is eastbound 118 in Carbon Hill. All right, we'll go back to the radar. According to John Talbot, John is our one of our sky watchers. John's our longtime sky watcher. Walker County 911, they have multiple reports of trees down across Highway 69 and Arkadelphia Road. And again, this is in Walker County, and that makes sense. And again, we just have concern. We're going to have a lot of reports just like that during the course of the day today. So again, trees down across Highway 69 and Arkadelphia Road with this line of storms. Again, getting a lot more images of trees down. The good thing I can tell you, we've heard of no injuries today. And again, this is a day to take these severe thunderstorm warnings seriously. It's really important to do that. We oftentimes focus on the tornado warnings, but today we'll have no tornado warnings. They're all severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's go back to WEXO 5. This is some damage at Arley in Winston County. And again, many reports of just countless trees down in Winston County from this particular line segment. And again, we're seeing all kind of big trees and limbs down like this. But again, the encouragement here is to please don't drive. And if you are in your home as the line approaches, you just might want to stay away from windows. Just remember, if you got trees around your house that can come down, they could come down on your home in a situation like this. You want to be near the center, small room, like we say for tornadoes, small hall closet, bathroom, something like that, lowest floor. So back to the radar. Again, we've got a line of severe storms, and these are wind velocities at radar beam height. And you can see 58, 59, 66 miles an hour. Down at the surface, winds are probably in the 50, 60 mile per hour bracket, wind gusts. And the line itself is going to be coming into the Birmingham Metro, I'd say by 2:30 to 2:45 this afternoon. Tuscaloosa, probably about 2:15. The storm's coming into Cullman right now. And again, if you're in Huntsville, there's no warning up here. The storms are weaker north of the Tennessee River. They're really under severe limits. You've got thunder, lightning, yes, but the concern really begins to ramp up once you get down here to Highway 278 and point south. Strong storms are certainly in Morgan and coming into Marshall counties. There are severe thunderstorm warnings in effect here, but the greater wind velocities are right down through here. And we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for Marshall, Blount, Jefferson, eastern southern Cullman, eastern Walker, and all of Tuscaloosa counties and a small part of Pickens County. Now, here's some good news. Once this line is passed, you're done with the severe weather threat for this afternoon. If you're in, say, Haleyville, Hamilton, Winfield, Fayette, Russellville, the Shoals, Sulligent, Vernon, you're done with severe storms this afternoon. The concern is along and east of the line. The line is moving at 55 miles an hour, and again, it's going to just truck right on across the state. Should reach the Anniston-Gadsden area, I'd say 3:30 to 4 o'clock this afternoon. And really, this line should be out of our territory into Georgia by 5 or 6 o'clock today. So they're going to keep on moving along at a pretty good clip. But again, the winds have been ferocious, especially in the line segment right down through here, through parts of Walker, Fayette, Winston, Marion counties. It's been a very rough ride this afternoon. And the latest power outage count is still running at about 28,000 statewide. And just be aware that there's a chance you are going to be without power for a bit. And the Alabama Power, the co-ops, they do a marvelous job of restoration in a situation like this, but understand it just takes a little while. So be ready to be without power for a while this afternoon or this evening if you're in advance of this line. And again, we encourage no one driving at all in that...
Lights out in Cullman.
Yeah. And again, there's no tornado involved here. A lot of people are sending photographs of scud clouds, and we probably need to go back and do a spotter training class. But let's see here. We are going to go back to WEXO 5. And again, people are seeing these little low appendages on the shelf cloud. That's the leading edge of a storm. There's no tornado involved here. This is all straight line winds. But yeah, creepy for sure. CLCs, creepy looking clouds. Oh boy. Oh goodness. You know, I don't like to joke about the state bird when something like that happens. Obviously, there's been some damage at this house. And trampolines have been flying today. And again, this is an example of what has been going on in various parts of the state. In fact, let's take a look at this video together. And again, thanks to all of you for sending in the videos and the images. It's very helpful to us in that we can see what has happened. Again, you can see some trees down here, and this is obviously after the stronger winds have come on through. And many folks have trees down and power outages, and they're just now starting to be able to get outside and see some of the damage here. Again, this is a road that has been partially blocked. So let's go back to the radar. Again, we're going to bounce back between what it's like outside and the radar itself. We have a line of severe storms, if you're just watching us now, from Morgan County, around Hartsville, Price-Ville, east of Decatur, right down to Cullman, Fairview, Cullman, down to the eastern shore of Smith Lake, down to Sipsey, Empire, Cordova, Dora, Summiton, Parrish, Oakman, the northern part of Lake Tuscaloosa, then back over toward Carrollton and Pickens County. And the line is coming into Tuscaloosa. And do we have a working camera in Tuscaloosa, Riley, we can show?
That's what I'm trying to figure
that
out.
would be-
We had one at the Crimson Bridge off McFarland Boulevard, and the software our new cameras run on not working for me over here. I'm trying to see if we got an Algo camera right now. I got one off 82 McFarland Boulevard. Nothing really happening there. I might have to go further up 82, but all right, so Theo said the camera he has access to is down in Tuscaloosa. But if we could eventually, there's a camera in Coker. There's a big American flag Chevron gas station. This is along County Road 140 near 82. As you go away from Tuscaloosa, winds are starting to pick up. No signs of rain, hail, anything like that. But winds are starting to pick up in Coker along 82, and it looks like we have a little cell about to go right on top of downtown.
Yeah, I'm watching all the video. I can see things here. In fact, let's go back to Wexo 5 and kind of open this up. Again, I want to say this is going to be some video coming in from Smith Lake. Wow, goodness gracious. This is why you do not want to be on a boat. That's the Arley side of Smith Lake. Wow. And again, if you were to tell me that was down at Little Lagoon at Gulf Shores during Hurricane Ivan, I would probably believe you. And thankfully, I see no mariners on the waterway this afternoon. Again, this is Smith Lake at Arley, and that's what the line of storms looks like coming through this afternoon. Wow. And this is what it looks like in Northport. And again, we got the very ominous dark skies with the storms coming in. But again, you're going to have stuff blowing all over the place if you're in the path of this line. And we've got trees down in so many different parts of the state today. And again, that's more coming in from Northport, McFarland Boulevard. Those ominous clouds. No tornado threat today. The concern, it's damaging straight line winds. And again, we can pretty much guarantee that because we have seen images like that throughout northwest Alabama in advance of the line. A lot of trees are down on roads. And again, over and over, we're seeing scenes like this where you just don't want to be driving. In fact, even after the storms pass, I would recommend that you give it some time to allow for the roads to be clear. And again, this is, goodness, that's a mess right there. And I would say we probably had winds easily 60, 65 miles an hour causing damage like that. So back to the radar here at 2:08. This is James Spann with Riley Blackwell. We have severe storms in progress now from near Joppa, Arab, down to Cullman, near Hanceville, Colony, Sipsey, Empire, Dora, Summiton, Cordova, Parrish, the northern part of Northport, really coming into Tuscaloosa right now. In fact, let's look at, first off, let's look at Cullman. And again, you can see that we've got the cluster of storms coming through. The velocities are not as high here, but still you might have a wind gust of maybe 40, 45 miles an hour, possibly up to 50 in Cullman County. Let's go down to Walker County. We'll take a look at the velocities down here. And again, they're a little higher in Walker and Tuscaloosa counties. And again, we might see a wind gust of 60, 65 miles an hour here. Those higher wind velocities are coming through the eastern part of Walker County, east of Jasper, about to move into Jefferson County. And again, these are wind velocities at beam height. That's about 1,200, 1,500 feet off the ground. Near the surface, they could be about that strong. And obviously, with velocities like that, we could easily see a lot of trees coming down. They'll be coming into Bagley, Sayre, Adamsville, Graysville, Adamsville, Sylvan Springs, McDonald Chapel, Pratt City, Edgewater, Oak Grove. We'll go down into Tuscaloosa County, and again, those higher velocities coming into the city of Tuscaloosa, higher velocities over Lake Tuscaloosa, and those will ultimately come through the city of Tuscaloosa, the city of Northport, then out toward Brookwood, Lakeview, Coling, and Vance in eastern Tuscaloosa County. So again, this is a line of severe storms that we're watching. We have no tornado warnings in effect. We typically don't go wall to wall for severe thunderstorm warnings, but with this being the case this afternoon, such a high impact event, we thought the right thing to do was to just kind of stay with you this afternoon. But the encouragement here is to be sure that you pay attention to all these severe thunderstorm warnings. And the thing to do, number one, we don't want anybody driving in this with so many trees coming down, and we do not want anybody outside at some venue staying outside when you're hearing thunder. That's when you need to get in, because lightning is also an issue as well. That the lightning is rather tremendous with these thunderstorms today. Again, watching some more of the images, and it just seems like it's mostly all trees and lines coming down. And so I would just suggest, if you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, this would include the Birmingham Metro, just be in a small room. There's nothing wrong with that. Lowest floor, away from windows, as if we were to be under a tornado warning. The last thing we want is anybody to be hurt today. Listen, I'm a numbers guy. I'm a little dyslexic. I'm not the best reader, but I love numbers. And the only metric, the only number that really matters to us is injuries and fatalities. That's it. And we want 0 in those categories today. And this will not last especially long. These storms, they're moving at 55. They will come and they will go very quickly. And you can resume everything that you were doing after the storms pass. So let's see here, Theo, we're going to go back to WEX 05. This will be some of the video coming in from Smith Lake. Is that somebody out there, Riley? Boy, I think it is.
Might not be the best idea. I don't think
No.
the fish are biting right now.
Yeah, no. Goodness, we tried to encourage everybody to be off the waterways. Nobody needs to be on the lake right now. Nobody. Doesn't matter, what the situation is. This is not a day to be on the water. This is some video all coming in from Smith Lake as the storms were coming through. Again, tremendous amounts of wind here. Look at that. Wow. The winds in some cases gusting to 60, 65 miles an hour, maybe even 70 on the high end. And again, we're getting just so many images like this across the state in advance of that line of these large tree limbs and trees themselves that are down. We've had some reports of trees down on homes. We have heard of nobody injured so far. But again, these are all images from within that line of storms. And understand, this is about to sweep through Tuscaloosa and Birmingham. It's coming through Cullman now, and Aniana soon. Some pretty good population centers. And we're just concerned that folks need to be sheltered, as if this were a tornado warning. It's not. We have no tornadoes involved. Again, a lot of these scud clouds, that's scud. That has nothing to do with a tornado. No rotation, no debris. That's all scud. But again, you can see... looks like we got a pretty good sized limb down there from that tree. And again, it's been a rough ride today. Very rough ride.
We're already up to almost 34,000 people in the state without power.
I would believe that. So 34,000 now with no power statewide, with this line of storms coming through this afternoon. And again, we thank you for the images. Again, this is more video coming in from Smith Lake. And again, this is pretty remarkable to me. Look at that. And thankfully, I see no boaters in this particular video. But again, those are some fierce, nasty winds coming right on top of Smith Lake. John Talbot, our Skywatcher, reports that Walker County 911 is giving out numerous tree down calls throughout all of southern Walker County. That would be down toward Oakman and Parrish. Pumpkin Center, places like that. So again, just many trees have come down today. So let's go back to the radar here. It's 2:13. This is James Spann with Riley Blackwell. We have a line of severe storms now coming into the Birmingham Metro. The line begins up here near the Cullman-Walker County or Cullman-Blount County line. They'll be coming into Bluntsville and Locust Fork, Hayden here in the next few minutes, coming into northern Jefferson, Warrior, Kimberly, Morris. northwestern Jefferson, Graysville, Adamsville, West Jefferson, and it should be in downtown Birmingham pretty soon. And again, with this line, and we should also mention the line also coming into Tuscaloosa and Brookwood and Lakeview in Tuscaloosa counties. And this seems to be the segment with the highest wind potential here. In the Tennessee Valley, the winds have just been okay. They've been 40, 45, but the stronger winds have been south of the Tennessee Valley today down here in this part of the state. And listen, if you're south of, say, Brent or Clanton, it's a beautiful day. You have no rain at all. This is a North Alabama problem, the northern half of the state where we have a severe thunderstorm watch in effect. Severe thunderstorm warnings in effect all of Blount, all of Marshall, all of Jefferson, all of Tuscaloosa, eastern Walker, eastern Cullman for the line. And again, once this passes, you're done with it. It's a one and done thing for severe storms this afternoon. Again, if you're in Anniston, Gadsden, Jacksonville, Leesburg, Center, Weiss Lake, you're thinking, what's the fuss? It's a nice day. And it's been a nice day for you. But you'll deal with that here in about an hour or 90 minutes from now. So understand it's on the way. And again, the object here is to get everybody off the waterways. On a Saturday in June in Alabama, the lakes are just crowded with boaters. I understand that. But you don't want to be on the water for something like this. You really don't. And again, we advise no driving within this line and that we have so many trees that are coming down. The stronger wind fields coming into western Jefferson, southwestern Blount counties. Gary Goggins down at the Weather Service in Birmingham, he's telling us to let you know, folks in Jefferson County and downtown Birmingham should be sheltered now. Not 5 minutes from now, but now. And again, it's just a course of least regret is to treat this thing like it's a tornado warning. In that we have so many trees that are coming down. The strongest wind fields on radar are coming into the Birmingham metro. But again, everybody within the line, just stay sheltered until this thing passes, and again, it's going to come through very, very quickly. But Riley, I've heard of nobody hurt today. That's the good thing so far, right?
Yeah, I have not heard anything either. I'm trying to get in our new camera systems to see what we got. But yeah, I haven't seen any injuries. I've been kind of going back and forth with the Facebook comments. But some of the damage, I mean, you showed that picture of the trampoline. I mean, if we have stuff like that and not get any injuries, that's pretty remarkable.
Yeah, I've had concern that we would have that, but so far we have not. But again, I think that's a sign that they've been listening to the potential for this and that they have been paying attention. And again, in just a second, we're going to go to some more of your images. And again, we thank you for your images. It's our window to the world. We can't have cameras everywhere. And what you send us makes a lot of difference. And again, almost everything we're seeing, it involves downed trees. So let's see here. Want to go to Theo, WEX 05. So this is Interstate 65 north of downtown Birmingham. This is up around Warrior. And we got apparently trees blocking Interstate 65. I know it's fuzzy and you can't see much, but according to the reports, apparently a tree has come down, one or more, along Interstate 65 north of downtown Birmingham, and it's just a mess. That's why we don't want anybody driving. And again, this is a common sight. We've got these all over the state. Trees on roads and power lines. This is a very common sight here. And look at that. Wow. This is why you don't have power. And again, what's our current power count, Riley, statewide? I would imagine we're over 30,000 based on the numbers we've seen that they've been increasing this afternoon.
Oh, wow. That was a big jump. About 5 minutes ago, it was about 33,000. Now we're up to 48,672.
Goodness. Near 50,000 people with no power in the state. And again, all of this is very common within the line. And that's an example of the type of trees that have been coming down today. That's a big one. That's no small one. And again, it has been a very, very rough day. That looks like maybe some security camera video. You know, these doorbell cameras do provide some pretty fascinating thunderstorm video from time to time. Let's see. Oh, wow. That trampoline is gone.
Whoa, there it goes.
Alabama State bird in flight. Whew. Goodness gracious. This is on the University of Alabama campus. Oh, wow. Look at here. That's a huge tree down on the campus of the University of Alabama. And that could be University Boulevard near the quad.
That's what it looks like.
Wow. Those trees are not young trees. Those trees have been there for a long time, through generations. So again, this is some damage from the campus at the University of Alabama in Tuscaloosa. More damage, as you can see here. Again, that is such a common sight. We've got power lines all wrapped up in that. In fact, again, you can see lines down there. And obviously, with these power lines, you need to treat all of them as though they are hot. Don't touch them, don't get near them. Just stay away from them. Let the power company do their thing. And it's going to take a while. Again, we have about 50,000 people in the state with no power as we speak. Again, let me go back to that Smith Lake video one more time. Just to me, it's fascinating to watch this. Again, this is what's coming through the Birmingham Metro in Tuscaloosa right now. Those same type winds gusting to 60, 70 miles an hour. The tree down, by the way, along Interstate 65 is at mile marker 287 near Hayden. So again, tree down, I-65, Hayden near 287 mile marker. So let's go back to the radar here. It's 2:20, and again, we're going to bounce back between your reports and your videos and photographs from the radar. Downtown Birmingham is right here. The line is coming into Graysville, Adamsville, Forestdale, Fultondale, Gardendale, Kimberly, Morris, Warrior. And this is nasty stuff. The winds are just very fierce, very fierce. We could see hundreds of trees blown down, and the greatest concern is this densely populated Birmingham Metro here. And again, our advice is to treat it like a tornado warning. Look at that, 69 mile per hour winds. We're getting closer to the radar site. Radar site, Shelby County Airport, say the beam height's about 1,000 feet, maybe under 1,000 feet here. And these winds could be reaching the ground, 72 miles per hour, 50, 69. And again, that's the kind of winds you can expect. So again, if you are in the Birmingham Metro, the best thing to do is to go ahead and just plan on being in a small room, lowest floor, near the center, no windows. If there are trees around your house, they could come down on your home. Nobody should be driving at this point. And again, you might have sustained winds of 45, 50 miles an hour, gusting to 60 or 70 for a pretty decent amount of time here. And this could do a lot of tree and power line damage, with trees coming down on structures and cars and automobiles. And again, the last thing we want to hear is, if anybody hurt in this kind of thing today. So again, we've got a line of storms coming right into Birmingham. I tell you, we might want to go on the television side, Riley. I don't know what's on our TV station right now, but
looks like WNBA.
let's go on the TV side for a few minutes.
Okay.
Theo's
going to let.
what we're going to do is let the TV family kind of join us on the live streams here, just so they will know what's happening. Those that are watching we're not going to keep them for long here, but we got some older folks. They just watch television. They're not into the live streams and YouTube and Facebook and everything else. And again, the object of what we do here is to take care of every people group, and to do that, we have to use old school television. And I think the best thing to do in a case like this is to join the TV side for just a few minutes, and then we'll resume this. We'll stay, of course, on the live streams here. All right, we're going to stand by for 1 second. We'll join TV. Very quick interruption. This is James Spann. For those watching on the television side, we have severe storms coming into the Birmingham Metro. Potential for damaging winds. High potential. Winds could gust to 60, 70 miles per hour. Widespread tree and power line damage and structural damage a possibility. So if you're in your home in the Birmingham Metro right now, we want you to be sheltered like this is a tornado warning. Small room, lowest floor, near the center, away from windows. We'll let you watch the basketball game. We are live on the ABC 3340 YouTube channel and Facebook page. But I wanted to hop on television for just 1 minute so you're not caught off guard here. Severe storms with very high winds coming into Birmingham. Potential for major tree and power line damage and structural damage. Treat this like a tornado. We'll go back to the game now for you. We'll be live on the ABC 3340 YouTube channel and Facebook page. All right, and we're back here. Thank you.
We have John Talbot again, Lock 17 Road, Riley Circle, and Oak Grove, tree down blocking the road per 911.
And I would certainly believe that. Again, the scanner traffic is probably off the charts right now. And I'm seeing so many roads that are blocked, just literally hundreds of images coming in here from this line, as the line has come through. And it's rough out there. In fact, what we'll do is go back to WEX 05 real quick, and I just wanted to show you what this is doing. The social science studies have indicated that if you see it like that, you'll know to be in a safe place. And again, I want to say this damage is from Cullman County, and that is a tree that has come down onto a home in Cullman County. I want to say this is from Susan Moore up in Blount County. That's a shelf cloud. That has nothing to do with a wall cloud, nothing to do with a tornado. That is a shelf cloud on the leading edge of this, and you're going to see that. And again, we're just not concerned about tornadoes today. It's all straight line winds, but so what? You know, if a tree comes on your house, does it matter if it's a tornado or straight line winds? It really doesn't. So in a case like today, we encourage everybody to treat these severe thunderstorm warnings very, very, very seriously.
And James, my mom is in Maytown along 269 behind Maytown Baptist Church reporting the power's out at her house.
Yeah, and we've got over 50,000 now with no power in the state. And again, these are all highways that have been blocked, and there's just so many of these kind of reports. It's just hard to share the number of roads that are blocked and impassable right now, but there's just many of them. This is pretty nasty. Again, these are not young trees. These are large trees that have come down because of extremely high winds. Again, you can see the power line damage here. And in a case like this, with the power so wide, there's a tree on a house. The damage is so widespread, it's going to take a while for everybody to get their power back. So please be patient with the Alabama Power, the various co-ops. It's just going to take some time. But all these images coming in from within this line, and again, we're showing you these images because we have learned that if you see this, you will understand the nature of what's to come. That thing is coming right into Birmingham. In fact, the Children's of Alabama Skycam, Riley, that thing should be looking pretty fierce at this point. We'll look back to the north and west.
We got our new Skycam. That's on Protective Stadium, and skies are getting darker. And yeah, the Children's of Alabama overlooking Regions Field. It's looking very dark.
Yeah, this is our camera that's on top of Children's of Alabama, looking back toward the junction, the I-65 2059 junction in downtown Birmingham. And again, that's the line coming in. Again, off in the distance, you can see press box of Legion Field. Down below, that's Regions Field, where the Barons play baseball. And again, it's going to get really, really nasty here in a few minutes. So let's go back to the radar. Again, we're going to bounce between different sources here. We have a line of severe storms coming into Birmingham. And again, you can see that line of storms now coming into Bluntsville, Locust Fork, approaching Aniana. It's come on through Hayden. It's coming into Warrior, Kimberly Morris, Adamsville, Graysville, Forestdale, Fultondale, Gardendale, Mount Olive. Then down into Oak Grove, Sylvan Springs, McDonald Chapel, Edgewater. Then into eastern Tuscaloosa County. Now for the city of Tuscaloosa, the worst is over. We've had some trees down on the campus of the University of Alabama that we showed you earlier. And we now have new warnings in effect for all of Etowah, all of St. Clair, all of Shelby, and most of Bibb. So again, everybody in advance of this line, you're going to be in some type of severe thunderstorm warning today. So again, severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for Etowah, St. Clair, Shelby, and Bibb. And let's go farther north and take a look at the northern end. We've not been talking much about the Tennessee Valley because the storms are much, much weaker here. The Weather Service did issue warnings for Madison and parts of Jackson counties here for the line segment that is coming through Huntsville, and the velocities have come up a little bit here. And again, the air's had time to heat up, and the air's a bit more unstable. And again, this is coming from the radar at high top. So again, just be aware that we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for parts of Madison, Jackson, Marshall counties in advance of the line, and ultimately we'll have warnings in effect for the rest of Jackson County and DeKalb County as well. So back to the reflectivity, and we'll kind of work our way back down the line. That's the line that's coming through Huntsville and Lake Gunnersville. They've had the big hydro day, the races at Lake Gunnersville. Hopefully they're off the water there.
It's been canceled. I saw somebody actually make a comment about that. It has been canceled for the day.
Yeah, that's good. And again, I saw a lot of video from that event this morning. But you can see the line will be coming into places like Gadsden and Springville within the next hour or so. And again, the line is coming right into downtown Birmingham. So Riley, let's take a look at our cameras again. Let's take one more time. What you got downtown?
So yeah, Theo's got Protective Stadium pulled up. I'm looking at American Village. Nothing quite is a little far for American Village. I'm going to pull up the Galleria. Oh, the camera's shaking in Protective Stadium now. The wind's starting to pick up. So, James, I'm going to send you this picture. This is from my friend Madden. His mom is at the 4 Point Sheraton on Lakeshore. And it's a pretty good looking little cloud starting to move in. But once again, no tornado. Just a CLC, creepy looking cloud.
Right, and understand, on a day like today, you're going to see a lot of scud clouds. But yeah, again, this is the view coming from Children's of Alabama, downtown Birmingham, looking back to the north and west. Let's go back to Protective Stadium for just a minute, Theo. This is one of our newer sky cams, and that thing is
Hope you don't get
it's shaking and baking. I mean, that thing is, hope it doesn't blow halfway to East Aboga here, or Andalusia. But obviously, that is...
Hey, Theo, let's pull up the Galleria cam on Sky 3 so we can take a look at this structure. Remember, this is looking north, a little bit, sort of north-northwest, but look at that structure on the lower end of those clouds. That's a pretty cool sight to see. You know, that's Dealership Row right there, 31 to the north. We can zoom in a little bit. Still trying to get used to the zoom stuff, but see no lowering of a funnel cloud, wall cloud, or anything. That's just not what we're expecting for today, but still pretty decent structure as these storms push through. And again, this is at the Galleria, on top of the Galleria, looking to the north-northwest.
Let's go back to Children's of Alabama one more time and take a look at that one. Again, this is where we're going to have, yeah, it's pouring. Wow. Let's point down toward Regents Field if we can, pan down.
Try my, I mean, it is whipping.
That's, and understand, it's really rough. You can see the tarp down at Regents Field. This is just nasty. This is a thunderstorm that is easily capable of producing winds gusting to 70 miles an hour. Let's go back to Protective Stadium. Look at that one, same thing. Just fierce, absolutely fierce. This is just north of Interstate 5920, downtown Birmingham, adjacent to the BJCC complex. And again, thank goodness the Stallions are not playing that game today. They got a big game out there tomorrow. But again, obviously, it's rough. We'll go back to the Children's camera, Children's of Alabama. And again, that's a live look down at Regents Field. This is a severe thunderstorm complex that is capable of producing widespread tree and power line damage. And again, we've had that all across the line itself today. As the line has been coming through, many thousands of trees have been blown down. We have over 50,000 people in the state with no power. And again, the line continues pushing to the south. We're now at 68,000. We're almost at 70,000 people with no power. Winston County leads the way. They've got the highest percentage of outages. Outages increasing rapidly in Cullman, Walker. A lot of outages back in Fayette, Lamar, Marion.
Oh yeah, that's looking 65 south towards Red Mountain.
Yeah, can we get any video, or is that just a still frame there? Yeah, that's okay. Let's go back to the, again, downtown Birmingham. And again, this line of storms will keep on moving east. It's moving at 55 miles an hour. This will be out of here soon in Birmingham. Next up, Trussville, places like Moody, Pell City, Gadsden, Asheville, Springville, ultimately Anniston, Jacksonville, Heflin, Center, Leesburg. This line will continue sweeping to the east. But again, that is a really nasty line. And again, we're currently at 68,000 people statewide with no power. And it has been such a rough afternoon. Let's go back to WEXO 5 for some of the viewer images real quick. And again, you can see so many trees are down. And again, that's scud, nothing to do with a tornado there. But again, this is a very common sight. And if you have to drive somewhere this afternoon, be aware that many roads are blocked by fallen trees and power lines. And if you encounter a power line, understand that power line is hot, most likely. Don't get close to it. Wait on the power company to come do their thing. But all these images coming in from various parts of the line, And again, these are big trees. These are not small trees that have come down. And again, within the line, we probably have winds gusting to 60, 65, maybe 70 miles per hour in spots. And again, that's a tree that's come down on a home. We've had no reports of injuries so far, thankfully. But let's go back to the radars. So we are live at 2:34. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now. The newer warnings include Etowah County, St. Clair, Shelby, and parts of northern Bibb. Basically, the new warnings are from Centerville, Brent, all the way up to Gadsden and Duck Springs. The line is coming right into downtown Birmingham. Let's go back to the Protective Stadium camera.
We got a 61-mile-an-hour gust at Birmingham Airport.
Wow. All right.
We actually have a camera at the airport. If you give me 1 second, I can get it pointed that way. It's got the Coca-Cola plant.
And of course, the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport is about 5 miles east of Protective Stadium. And again, this is in downtown Birmingham. So we're getting winds now, we know for sure, confirmed, gusting to 60, 65 miles per hour in Birmingham. And this is the kind of winds we've had within this line all day. We've been here for a long time, and we'll stay with this until it moves over into Georgia. But again, multiple trees and lines are down. Let's go back to the Children's of Alabama camera if we can. This will be the camera that's on top of Children's.
I tried to move the airport camera and it froze up on me, so you might have to give me a second.
Okay.
But, I mean, it is just a wicked line. Trying to see if we have any new damage reports coming in. Fultondale Fire Department, Ellard Road, tree on the house. Golly, there's been a lot of trees falling on houses today.
Which camera is this? Is this Galleria?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's coming from
Ooh,
Hoover.
that's a good look.
That's the shelf cloud with the line that's coming into Hoover. And again, we are in River Chase in Hoover, by the way. We're not on Red Mountain. And John Talbot reports a tree on a house, Fultondale on Ellard Road. Let's go to WEXO 5 real quick. And again, this is what it looks like for folks that are trying to drive today. It's just brutal. And again, that would be Interstate 65 going north at the intersection of Interstate 22 up around Fultondale. And I just wouldn't want to try that. And I do know that a tree has come down on Interstate 65 up around Hayden in the far western part of Blount County, and traffic's backed up for a long way. But again, this is just not the best day to be out on the roads. But again, that's what it looks like along Interstate 65, just sheets of wind-driven rain coming through there. And again, just so many images like this, hundreds and hundreds of images like this of trees that are down on power lines and trees that are down on roads. Again, you can see the power line damage there. I would imagine before you know it, we're going to be at over 100,000 with no power. We'll check the latest number here, and we are at still 68,000. And probably on the next update will be, again, I would not be shocked if we had over 100,000 people with no power in here today.
This hasn't updated in
And again,
almost 8 minutes.
that's more of the power line damage, and it's going to take a while. You understand, to rebuild that infrastructure, it just takes a while, and everybody's going to be really patient with the power company, but they do just such a wonderful job here. Let's go back to the Galleria Tower camera if we can. This is a look at the shelf cloud that is coming into Hoover. To get your bearings straight down below, that's Interstate 459 and US Highway 31. And again, we're looking north from Galleria Tower. And that storm, of course, has been sitting over downtown Birmingham. And what was the gust at the airport? You say it was 61 miles per hour at the Birmingham Shuttlesworth International Airport. Yeah, let's look at protected real quick. And again, this is what it looks like in downtown Birmingham. I would say the peak winds have already ended there in downtown Birmingham. Of course, it's pouring rain, but again, winds are gusting to 60, 65 miles an hour within the segment coming through the Birmingham Metro. And obviously, this has knocked down just countless trees and power lines, and it is a really, really rough ride. And again, the encouragement here is to kind of treat this thing like a tornado warning if you were in a severe thunderstorm warning today. In that it's such a widespread thing. And it's the kind of thing where I just can't call out a specific barbecue joint or Joe's Barn. It's everywhere. Let's go back to the Galleria Tower Skycam in Hoover. And again, that's almost looks like an Independence Day scene there, but that's a shelf cloud. Understand we have no tornadoes involved in this today. Wind profiles don't favor tornadoes. We are out of tornado season. About the only time we wind up having tornadoes in summer here, that's with the landfalling hurricane or tropical storm and the spiral bands. But forget, it doesn't matter. Again, straight line winds can produce damage like a small tornado, and that's what we have today. We have trees down in so many counties across the state. And again, that shelf cloud will keep on moving into Hoover, and where we are, we'll feel it here pretty soon. Let's go back to the radar. And again, getting reports of trees all over from, just saw Chris Brooks in our Skywatcher chat, Center Point, trees down all over. More trees down that they can keep up with. The fire departments, they're having a real hard time keeping up with this, I understand. Highway 79 is blocked in Blount County. Fultondale police or fire, they're calling in additional manpower right now. Multiple trees down along Highway 79 north of Cleveland and south of the US 278 intersection. Many trees down in Morris-Kimberly. And it's rough out there, Riley, really rough.
Yeah, and might have a report of tree falling on a person per Fultondale Fire Department.
And again, they've requested for help. We have a report now of a multiple car accident along Interstate 20 East, right past Interstate 459. And again, this is, you just don't want to be driving. If you're a passenger in a car and you're in the path of this stuff and you're watching me on your phone, tell the driver to please pull over at the nearest gas station, fast food restaurant, something, and get in and just ride this thing out, because you don't want to be on the road. So severe storms lined up now from Lake Gunnersville down to Susan Moore, Aniana, Center Point, Huffman, downtown Birmingham, Homewood, near West Blockton and Bibb County. And the storms will continue sweeping on to the east. Now, South Alabama, you got no problems. You're thinking, what's up here? You're good. But let's go back to our Galleria Tower Skycam. And again, we're watching this thing together. And can we pan that a little to the left? You got control of that, Riley?
Yeah, I got control of it.
Yeah, let's bring it back to the left. We want to actually see this thing come in here. That's looking more to the east. I want to go more to the north. And again, down below that's US 31. There we are, right there. Yeah, let's just kind of leave it on that shot. And you'll see conditions really start to deteriorate. And again, the winds will increase. Again, the winds could easily gust to 60, 65 miles an hour within that line. And again, in a minute, you won't be able to see Interstate 459 down below. But again, this is on top of Galleria Tower. Down below, that's the Galleria Mall and the parking lot down there. But again, that's a live look at this incoming storm. And again, watching so many reports. All right, this is downtown Birmingham, Protective Stadium. And again, obviously, visibility is not improved. I think the wind velocities have come down. The winds have gusted to over 60 miles per hour at the Birmingham airport. But the traffic involving reports from the fire departments on the scanners, it's pretty remarkable. There are widespread trees down, and it's going to be just it's going to be a while to get everybody's power back on.
Should be knocking on our door shortly.
Right, and again, for those that don't know, ABC 3340 is in River Chase, our studio here in Hoover, just off Interstate 65. And we're watching all these reports. And again, everybody's asking, did a tornado just come through? No, no, this is all straight line winds. People don't understand how wicked straight line winds can be. And this is a widespread thing all up and down the line. These are wind velocities coming into northern Shelby County now. And again, tremendous amounts of lightning, and you cannot be outside. Look at that. And we're close to the radar. We're really close to the radar. That's a wind gust of 78 miles an hour coming into around Helena here in Shelby County. That's on the gust front ahead of that line. And the radar is right here. I mean, that's how close we are to the radar site. The radar is here, so that radar beam is barely off the ground. So the velocities that you see here, that's pretty darn close to what you can expect down at the surface.
The wind's starting to pick up on our Galleria camera too.
Yeah, let's go back to the Galleria camera if we can. We're going to kind of bounce back between sources here and kind of watch all this together. Let's go to WEX 05. And again, this is it's just rough on the roads. It's just you do not want to be out there. That's tough. This is looks like that's along perhaps Interstate 65, maybe north of downtown. We had a report of a major tree down along Interstate 65 up and around Hayden, the far western part of Blount County. Yeah, that's Walker's Chapel Road. Right, that's up at Fultondale. That's just north of Interstate 22. And it is just awfully rough up in through there. But again, all of these images have been pretty remarkable. Let's go back to the radar real quick. I did want to show here in just a second some of the trees that have come down in Tuscaloosa. Let's go back to WEX 05. Again, these are trees down on the campus of the University of Alabama. And understand, these are trees that have been there for a long time. I would suggest that is University Boulevard, and most likely that's right there at the Quad. Wow. Been walking down that stretch many, many times over the years. I moved there when I was in 5th grade from Greenville. All right, back to the radar, and we want everybody to stay safe. We're advising that you just kind of treat this like a tornado warning today if you're in these polygons. And again, everybody in advance of the line, you are in a polygon. This is not a small scale problem here. This is a widespread problem. In fact, let's look at a big picture, Riley. Let's kind of reset here and show everybody the big view. We'll put the reflectivity back on. And again, the line of severe storms stretching from Lake Gunnersville right down into eastern Blount County. And the line is about to come into Etowah County. It'll be coming into Attala and Gadsden soon. And again, you can expect winds that might gust to 60, 65 miles per hour. The stronger winds will be coming into Straight Mountain, around Appalachian School, then overhead towards Steele, Whitney Junction, Asheville. The storms extend now east and south of Birmingham, Trussville, Argo, Chalkville, Leeds, Liberty Park, Homewood, Hoover, Vestavia. They'll be coming into Helena, Pelham, Alabaster, and Shelby County. Then ultimately down into West Blockton. They'll be coming into Centerville, Brent pretty soon. For Tuscaloosa, it's all over. Severe weather threat has ended for Tuscaloosa, Fayette, Jasper, Cullman. You're done with it. You've still got some rain, but you're done with it. It's a one and done thing today once you get past this line. Let's go to the Galleria Tower camera. And it's coming right in on the Galleria now. And we'll just kind of watch this together. We'll see sheets of rain. And again, winds up on top of that building. I tell you what, Riley, they might hit 70 on top of that building.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm looking at the radar estimates right now. This is over 60 miles per hour just east of McCalla. That's about over Bentbrook Golf Course. 63 near Alabaster. I mean, it is it's whipping.
And the winds that we're seeing now are real close to the radar site, so that would be representative of what people might be seeing at the surface. Again, just you don't want to be out there in the middle of this. We've talked about this for hours and hours, but you want to be sheltered, almost as if this were a tornado warning. The biggest problem, it is coming from down trees and power lines. And we have had hundreds and hundreds of trees that have been blown down across the state. And the power outage count is now 87,000. 87,000 people in Alabama are without power. 87,000. And I know it's going to take a while to get everything back because of the widespread nature of the damage here. Again, we're just kind of watching this together, and this is what people have been dealing with all day long. It's been a rough day. Let's go back to WEX 05. And again, we'll take a look at some ground level scenes. Look at that. Oh, wow. Goodness gracious. It's rough out there. And understand, this is widespread. This is all up and down this whole line. It's not in just one spot. This is not like a spring event where I've got one tornado down. This is widespread winds like this, and the winds stay up there for several minutes. It's not just a few seconds like a tornado. And again, with straight line winds, you can have twisting damage. You can have little wind eddies that create twisting damage like a tornado. But again, like we've talked about all day, it doesn't matter If it's straight line wind or a tornado, you got to be sheltered and be in a safe place. Let's go back to the Galleria Tower camera really quickly. Again, this is going to be a higher look at this. And again, this is live coming from Galleria Tower in Hoover. And the winds are just absolutely whipping up on top of that building. Let's go back to WEXO 5. Again, these are some of your images. And again, that's a shelf cloud. And notice the traffic. That's our greatest concern. It's all these folks that are out on the roads. And again, if a tree comes down and you're stuck in a traffic jam like that, there's nowhere to go, no place to hide. I just would not want to be in a car. Looks like a tree has come down onto this house. And I'm afraid we've got scenes like this in various parts of the state. You can see the siding ripped off of this particular home. I want to say this was up in Cullman County earlier today. And so many scenes like this have been just very common. Large trees have come down, and it's been a big mess. This has been the Galleria Tower camera has gone down, so that thing might be blown halfway to Andalusia. We don't know. But the power infrastructure is just going to take a while for that to be rebuilt. Again, this is along Interstate 65 right at Walker Chapel Road up in Fultondale earlier today. All right, let's go back to the Galleria camera. We got it back now. Again, this is live, and I would imagine we've had probably a power outage there. There is a generator at Galleria Tower.
Yeah, that's live. That's happening right now.
Yeah, this is, understand, this is live. This is not this is not viewer video. This is live from our Skycam that's up on top of Galleria Tower. And again, we're probably taking winds up on top of that building, gusting to 70, I think. Down at the surface, probably 60 to 65. Winds gusted to 65 down at the, or 61 down at the Birmingham Airport earlier this afternoon. And again, it is tough out there. So just stay put. We encourage nobody to be driving. And if you're in your home, just be in a small room like you would do for a tornado warning. Closet, hall, bathroom, lowest floor, near the center, no windows. And this is what you can expect. If you're in Scottsboro, if you're in Anniston, Gadsden, anywhere east of this line, this is what you're going to be dealing with over the next several minutes. And understand the one good thing about the line, it's moving at 55 miles per hour. So you will have it for several minutes, these extreme winds, and then everything will settle back down. But let's go back to the radar very quickly to show the big picture. And again, we have severe storms lined up now from east of Lake Gunnersville approaching Fort Payne, Mentone, then right almost into Attala, near Gadsden. It'll be coming into Gadsden soon. We'll be watching the camera there in a second. Straight Mountain, Inland Lake, Chandler Mountain, Steele, Whitney Junction coming into Asheville, Springville, Argo, then curving down into Leeds and Moody in St. Clair County. Of course, Leeds is where Jefferson, Shelby, and St. Clair come together. Then down into Hoover. You saw the camera from the Galleria Tower. And the storms coming into Helena, Alabaster, and Pelham, and then coming into Brent Centerville. It's been in West Blockton. And again, all within that line, you've got potential for damaging straight line winds, winds that could easily exceed 60 miles per hour, producing a lot of tree and power line damage. The new number just came in, 96,000. We're basically 100,000 in the state with no power. 96,000 have no power. And again, this is a rough ride. Many roads are blocked because of trees and power lines that are down. Again, it's if you have to drive, just be really, really, really careful. Let's go back to WEXO 5 real quick. These are some of your images that have come in. And it's going to take a while to clean this mess up. It's just, and this is not just in one spot. This is pretty widespread across the state today. And let's see, we'll roll that particular video. And at the peak of this, I would imagine we probably have had a few spots with winds maybe gusting to possibly 70 miles an hour. That's almost hurricane force. And again, you can see more tree damage there. A big part of the top of that tree has come down. and you just you want to be just like I say, you want to treat this thing like a tornado warning. It's a day where all of these warnings need to be taken very seriously. All of the severe thunderstorm warnings. And again, this is a good example of what people are dealing with and what they've dealt with. And if you are in advance of this, for example, if you're in places like Jacksonville, Anniston, Heflin, Pell City, Ashland, Lineville, Calera, Centerville, Brent, this is what you're going to be dealing with. And it's been a very rough ride. We have about 100,000 people statewide with no power, and it's going to continue moving on to the east. So let's go back to the Galleria Tower camera live. We're here at 2:54, and the conditions have improved. The winds have come down. The peak winds have come on through the Galleria. And here at our station in River Chase, we've had the same conditions, but I think we're still on commercial power, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is a very good thing. We have a generator here, but I do believe we're on commercial power, which is good. So let's go back to the radar, just kind of give you an idea of what's to come. And again, we are thankful for our
I'm
sky
keeping an eye
watchers.
on our American Village camera because, I mean, that'll be knocking on the door within 5 minutes. That's on Sky 1, Theo. Yeah, there we go.
Tree debris down in Cullman, 65-mile-per-hour wind gust in McCalla. Morris has multiple trees down, North Jefferson County. Carson Road at Decatur Highway, tree down, total road blockage. That's Carson Road at Decatur Highway, US 31. We have a tree down on a house in Center Point.
Getting reports in Adamsville, tree down on a home in the 4200 block of Oakwood Drive with power lines involved in Adamsville.
Yeah. But thankfully, through all of this, I've so far not seen any reports of damage. Let's look at a big picture real quick, and just want to show Anniston and Gadsden here for our friends there. So the storms are coming through Gadsden basically right now. In fact, we'll hit our Gadsden Skycam in just a second. Anniston, Oxford, Sacs, Alexandria, Jacksonville, McClellan, Lindlock, this whole Calhoun County stretch, you're about, I'd say, 30 to 45 minutes away. 3:30 to 4 o'clock. That's when you'll most likely deal with this. And again, the line is about to come into Gadsden. It's coming into Asheville.
I got the Skycam ready for you.
Yeah, let's take a look at it. Let's look at our Gadsden Skycam. All right, so, oh boy, I see a boater on the river. Listen, if you're on the Coosa, get off now. Again, that boater is headed down towards Southside from Gadsden, but he's moving pretty quick. He probably saw that shelf cloud. He's thinking, I'm out of here. But again, this is the wall of water and all the wind that's coming into downtown Gadsden. This camera is set up on the Gadsden Municipal Complex right by the Coosa. That's looking back to the west into the core of the line of severe storms. And again, if you're in Gadsden, you'll be dealing with basically the same thing everybody else has dealt with this. We've seen really no evidence of this weakening over the past 15 minutes. Everything is still strong. The wind velocities are showing evidence of winds of, in some cases down at the surface, of 60, 65 miles per hour. And again, for those just joining us here, this is a live view from our Gadsden Skycam. We're looking back into the thunderstorm that is approaching. In fact, what we want to do here really quickly is go to WEX 05. And this is the same storm. This is looking at it from Riverview, which is really about the same aspect we saw earlier with the Skycam there. And again, you're going to see all kind of creepy, low-hanging clouds. There is no tornado threat today, none. The straight line wind damage, that's a big deal. We don't want to underplay that. It can produce damage just like a tornado, and that's certainly been the case today. And again, a lot of tree and power line damage. And again, this is so common. I can't tell you. I've probably received 5,000 images, and that is no exaggeration, and videos of scenes like this over the state this afternoon. And that's what so many of our power poles look like. And that's the reason we have so many outages. And again, the latest outage count for the state is 96,642. Highest concentration of outages in Winston, Lamar, Cullman, Walker, Fayette, Marion, and Pickens counties, but the numbers are really ramping up in Jefferson and Blount. And again, the other problem we've got, so many trees are down on roads here, and that roads are blocked. And even after the storms pass, if you need to drive somewhere, understand, especially in a rural area, you might be driving and everything's fine, the rain is gone, it's all over, but you turn the bend and there's a tree down in a road. And we have so many trees blocked, and the fire departments are absolutely overwhelmed with this. And you can imagine their situation, and that it's going to take a while to respond to everybody. But the fire departments, they're doing the best they can. The power companies, they're going to do the best they can. But this has been a classic MCS, mesoscale convective system. And remember, if you encounter a downed line, treat it like it's hot. You touch that thing, you could be electrocuted. So stay away from them and let the power company take care of that. They know how to take care of that, and they will, but they don't need you to do that. If you've got a line down involving a tree or across a road or on a home or anything like that, just whatever you do, don't touch it. But again, all of these images coming in from earlier today, and it's a big mess. It is across the entire state. So let's go back to our Gadsden Skycam. Riley, what's that thing looking like now?
Let's see. We got starting to rain. I shifted a little bit. I can't really see that well. I don't see much wind activity, which of course is good. Maybe it's just good old-fashioned soaking, but let's look down the river. I can't really see any evidence of wind. I don't have the best view over here. Let's see. I will say that is some heavy rain.
Yeah, and again, it's going to get windy. And again, obviously, certain segments of the line, we've got higher winds than other segments. Some of the heaviest winds have come down into the Birmingham metro with this. And obviously, we have trees and lines down all through the Birmingham metro and through so much of north and northwest Alabama. The wind velocities have not been quite as high over the Tennessee Valley, which is good.
We've got 108,824.
Wow, 108. So we've gone over 100,000. Goodness gracious. It's been that kind of a day. So what we'll do, again, that's what you're looking at now is live. This is the Skycam that is in Gadsden. And again, look at that guy on the water down there. I mean, listen, you don't want to be on a boat with this stuff. You really don't. I mean, boats can capsize in a heartbeat. Let's go back to WEXO 5. And I know we got a lot of baseball tournaments or softball tournaments today, but this is it's just not working. It is just not working. So many tournaments. Goodness, I lived a travel ball life with our boys for a long time, and it's the greatest thing in the world. But goodness, when a storm comes along like this, it's pretty rough. And again, notice all of the trees down here and the power lines that are down. And so many roads are looking just like that across the state. And people are saying, is it a certain spot? Well, not really. It's very, very widespread, the nature of the damage we've seen here with trees and power lines coming down. And again, a lot of people are saying, well, a tornado just hit us. No, it's not a tornado. It's straight line winds. If you've never been in a situation like this, you know what this can be like. And what happens when you have a little dynamic support on a really hot day with the air really unstable, it came through at a bad time. It came through in the afternoon. We had the whole morning to heat up, and it's just not a good combination when this kind of stuff happens. Again, that's a shelf cloud, many shelf clouds seen on the leading edge of these storms today, nothing to do with a tornado. And again, here's a look at what it's looking like outside.
I'm trying to pull up the American Village one, but I think lightning may have got it.
Wouldn't be surprising.
It's loading and loading, loading, and then it fails. So I want to say we might have lost the American Village camera.
So far, the winds have gusted to 45 at the National Weather Service down in Calera. They're at the Shelby County Airport. So again, you know, in some spots in the line, you get those kind of wind gusts, 40, 45, and that's doable. But the problem is you got some spots that have been at 65 miles per hour this afternoon. And again, let's go back to the Gadsden Skycam. Let's go live to that and see what that's looking like. Again, this is down below that US 411, Rainbow Drive. And we can pan down a little bit. Now the banner's up. We can kind of see the road. There we go. Thanks, Riley. Again, it seems like the velocity in terms of the wind is not quite as extreme on that end of the line as it is to the south. The higher wind velocities seemingly have been south of US 278 today. Up in the Tennessee Valley, we've had a lot of reports of creepy clouds and some strong gusty winds, but we've seen no specific reports of any really big damage up in the Tennessee Valley. But still, the storms there are certainly pretty strong. Statewide, they're strong for the northern half of the state. And if you're in South Alabama, you're good. All of this is going to be in the northern part of Alabama today.
I'm pulling from High Top and got a 45 mile per hour pixel and a 39 mile per hour pixel around Gadsden. So this is from High Top.
Okay. Yeah, so again, the velocities are not as extreme in Gadsden as we've seen in other spots today. But I'm telling you, in a few places, it's been pretty tough. So we're at 3:05, and we are watching a line of severe storms. Let's put the reflectivity back on, kind of do a big picture reset here, talk about some timing. So the line of storms is now east and south of Birmingham. Downtown Birmingham, you're good. Risk of severe weather is ended. In fact, the rain has ended back in northwest Alabama. The line is obviously in Gadsden. The line will be in Anniston in about 15 to 30 minutes, around 3:15, 3:30 this afternoon. Jacksonville, Alexandria, Sacs, Anniston, Oxford. You're about 15 to 30 minutes away. And again, you can expect strong winds. The line is coming into Pell City right now and Logan Martin Lake. The line is coming through northern Shelby, down to Alabaster. That'll be coming into Talladega County, Talladega, Sycamore, Winterboro, Sylacauga, Lincoln pretty soon.
And we do have a camera near Lincoln. I believe it's looking west, Braden or Theo. Also, there's two people on the water in Gadsden. So not sure what they're up to, but yeah, we could start to see dark clouds. Yeah, that's on I-20 in Lincoln.
Okay.
Starting to see some darker clouds starting to roll in. And then real quick, if we could jump back to the normal sky cam in Gadsden to show what you shouldn't be doing right now. And see, are they drag racing going down the river right now?
Don't know what's going on there. Let's go to Wexo 5 real quick. More video from you. Again, all the ground video we get is extremely helpful for those of us that are, of course, watching radar. The radar beam can be several thousand feet off the ground. The radar beam is higher as you get farther away from the storm. That's a shelf cloud. And again, I probably had 20 people say, we got hit by a tornado. No, you got hit by straight line winds. And this is a reminder that straight line winds can be pretty rough. Tree down on the house in Adamsville. Tree down on Blue Ridge Road in Bluntsville. These are reports coming in from Blount County.
231 in Aniana.
Yeah, just we keep seeing these reports. Again, that's just another example. Goodness gracious, get in, quick, move it. Looks like, I don't know what kind of an event that was. Those tents are not doing very well. You would not want to be outside in a tent on a situation like this, and we're hoping that people at these outdoor venues got the warnings. The warnings in some cases were issued almost an hour, and we've talked about this thing for a couple of days, but the severe thunderstorm warnings were just critical today. They were very timely and very well done by the Weather Service and offices in Huntsville and Birmingham. But again, this is not a day to be outdoors, especially in a tent. Yeah, for sure.
It fortunately looks like these velocities are really starting to trek down. Pulling from Birmingham right now, maybe up near Hoax Bluff. Let's get a quick look. Now, this is well up in the atmosphere in terms of the beam height. That's Birmingham, High Top. Well, that doesn't really show much, but yeah, it seems like the overall trend is down right now, which of course great news, but
right, there's still, understand, it's problematic. This is these are still severe storms, and they're very dangerous. Again, we're watching all the reports coming in, and again, so much of this involves tree and power line damage. And again,
Starting to hear some thunder outside.
yes, we've had it here at our place for a while. Again, we're in River Chase in Hoover. But let's see here. As we like to do, let's, just a second, we're going to load up some new graphics that have been coming in from our viewers. And again, thanks to everybody for taking the time to send in the images and the videos. It is so helpful for us to be able to see all of this.
Also, real quick, while you're doing that, I want to go over the watches we have. So, Coleman, Winston, Marion, Fayette, Lamar, Pickens, Tuscaloosa, Walker. The severe thunderstorm watch is canceled. It's over with. The threat still remains from I-65 to the east, where we have that big line of severe thunderstorm warning stretching from Bibb County up to Etowah County, even Marshall County. The warnings are done. Cleburne County, no warning yet, but I imagine a warning is going to be coming soon for Cleburne. Cherokee County, severe thunderstorm warning, but I really don't give it much time at all, and this storm will be out of here.
Yep. Let's go to WEXO 5 real quick. And again, this is going to be some video just in. And that's obviously cleanup along what probably would be I-65. If I have to guess, this would be up around Blunt Springs. And that would be a tree that came down on Interstate 65. And again, you can see a tremendous backup on both sides here, but it's been that kind of a day. And again, look at the size of this thing. Goodness, wow.
Ooh, wow.
That's a big tree. Again, these are not young trees. These are not diseased trees. These are very healthy trees. Look on that cat space down there. What? What just happened here? Hey, look at this. Yeah, that cat, the look in the cat's eyes kind of says it all right there.
I think he's going to the bathroom, James.
Well, I would too. I mean, if that happened to me, I would clearly be doing that. So let's go back to the radar here. We're live at 3:11. We have a line of severe storms that is now coming into Weiss Lake, Center, Leesburg, Galesville, Cedar Bluff. And again, the velocities have come down, which is good, but still you could see winds of maybe up to 50, 55 miles per hour, gusts. So Weiss Lake, Center, Leesburg, down to Piedmont, Roy Webb Road, Knighton's Crossroads, Jacksonville, Pleasant Valley School, Angel. Storms coming into Anniston here soon, about 10 minutes away. Anniston, Oxford, which is right here. East Aboga, Bynum. The storms on top of Logan Martin Lake. The storms run into Shelby County. And again, the wind velocities are down a little bit. The higher reflectivity values are in the segment right here in Calhoun County. So let's look at Calhoun County real quick. Again, this thing is...
We have a Jacksonville camera too I can get pulled up.
We do. Again, Ohatchee is here. Southside is here. Lincoln is here. And again, this is Highway 77 right here from Lincoln back up to Ohatchee. Runs up to Rainbow City. Again, right here, this is Highway 9. Goes up to Jacksonville and Piedmont, or Highway 21, I should say, Alabama 21. This is Highway 9 right here. And this is 431 that goes up to Gadsden from Anniston. And again, that'll be coming right into Sachs, Weaver, McClellan, Blue Mountain, Anniston, Oxford with strong winds. So again, if you're in Calhoun County, just be aware that very strong winds are very possible, if not likely, with these storms. We've had just big problems all across the state during the course of the afternoon.
Ooh, somebody said peach trees. Peaches got thrown off the tree in Montevallo.
Well, that's not good.
Flying peach warning.
Not good at all. Again, what we're doing is watching your reports coming in real time.
And we could take that Skycam in Jacksonville. Got some good structure showing up. There's the softball field just right down there. See all the rain in the distance. I think that's as zoomed out as I can.
We'll see. We have a good time watching softball games on that camera. It's always fun to watch the Jacksonville State women's softball team in action. These cameras give us a good view of things like that. All right, so let's plan on going back to WEX 05. And again, all of this is images sent in to us here, and this guy's obviously in the middle of that line. I would not want to really be in a car, and I certainly wouldn't want to roll my window down. Well, oh, wow, goodness. Looked like a tree came down right in the middle of that. Again, that looks like, you know, you're down on Gulf Shores covering Hurricane Ivan or something. It's been that kind of a day. More shelf cloud images coming in. Let's look at this video here. And again, this is just what we're trying to do is to show you what these storms have been doing today. And we've just got so many reports of trees down, lines down. Over 100,000 people have no power in the state. This is very common. You are not alone if you got this going on.
Rain approaching the campus, Jacksonville State. I can see it on the camera.
Yeah, let's look at the Skycam Live real quick. And that's that big rain shield that is coming into Jacksonville. This is our Skycam on top of the Houston Cole Library on the campus of Jacksonville State University. And we're watching this all together in real time. Thankfully, this will be out of the state relatively soon. And we'll get this stuff into Georgia. We can kind of carry on here, and hopefully folks can get back outside. But the problem is all these power outages. In fact, let me pull the latest number. We're at 116,000, no power. 116,778, no power. Goodness. It has been a very, very, very rough afternoon. And again, we're still...
Listen, the damage reports are really starting to roll in.
And most of the damage reports involve trees and power lines, and some of the trees have come down on structures. Maybe we can zoom down or pan down a little bit, Riley. Got that big banner up there. Let's be able to see the... you can leave the banner up. We'll just pan down a little bit. There we go. That's a better way to see the...
There's the rain. No softball today, no practice.
No. And again, the weather's going to improve here. The problem is we have so many power outages now, so many roads are blocked.
Look at that. I mean, it's raining sideways.
Yeah, that's, again, this stuff's still packing a punch. It's the velocities have come down a smidgen, but it's still just, it's rough.
Go to
again,
top.
Let's go back to, let me load them up here real quick, Theo. Thanks to Theo back in the back for his fun. Let's go back to WEX 05. And again, a tree blocking a road. This is such a common scene we have across Alabama today. So if you're trying to get from point A to point B, understand you might not be able to do that unless you go to point C to get around some downed trees. And what you might want to do is just check mapping software on your phone just to look for long delays in areas where roads are closed because of so much damage here. Now we got a dog checking this down tree here. I think the dog maybe handles that a little better than the cat in that picture we showed a few minutes ago. But again, it's been pretty rough. This is more video coming in from the middle of this thing, and I think this is the one where you can actually see a tree come down in the video at some point. This line of storms came into northwest Alabama around noon today, right on time, and it's been steadily passing through the state, and it will be out of this thing soon. Let's go back to the Jacksonville Skycam and take a look at this. Oh boy.
Yeah, we were looking at the softball field. I mean, it's
still there.
So, well, I'm not getting a good velocity reading on any of this.
Of course, the beam is, we're so far away from the radars now at this particular site. But again, this is what it looks like coming through Calhoun County. And I would imagine if you're in Anniston, it's the same kind of thing. From all the reports I'm seeing from other parts of Calhoun County, Oxford, Anniston, pretty much the same type situation here. Very strong straight line winds. Again, this is the camera on top of the Houston Coal Library. And again, up on top of that building, I would imagine they could take a wind gust to 60, 65, down below probably 50 to 60. And again, that's the softball field on the campus. And this is what folks have been dealing with for a while here. And we got so many roads blocked. Again, it's impossible for us to go through all the roads that are closed or blocked at this point, but just understand it's a mess. Let's go to WEX 05. And there you go. That's obviously in Helena. Not quite sure what road that is, but that's in Shelby County. And again, these are not little bitty trees or tree limbs. That is a massive tree. And with so many of these trees down, it's going to take a while for the fire departments to come in and clear everything up. It's just a big mess across the state today, thanks to this MCS, mesoscale convective system, that has been performing as we afraid we had fear it would be performing at that level today.
James, it actually looks like an outflow boundary starting to form in Chilton County.
Let's go back to the radar. And I would imagine that is the case. So these are your warnings. And Riley's noticing a little fine line on radar here. That's in advance of that line. So we've got warnings in effect now from Chilton County. That would include Clanton, Thorsby, Jemison, the northwestern part of Coosa County, Rockford, north and west, all of Talladega, all of Calhoun, all of Cherokee for this line of storms. And again, you saw what it's doing in Jacksonville. And all up and down the line, we could see winds strong enough to knock down trees and power lines. Let's go back to our Jacksonville Skycam again. We just want to look at this thing. The best thing to do is let you see what it's doing. And that's what it's doing. At this point, 116,000 in Alabama are without power. The highest concentration of outages, percentage-wise, is Winston County. But the numbers are really ramping up in Jefferson, Blount, St. Clair as the line sweeps on to the east. But there are numerous outages in counties like Walker, Fayette, Marion, Tuscaloosa, Pickens. Got some in Bibb, some in Shelby. And again, what you see here, that is a live look at the current situation in Jacksonville, on the campus of Jacksonville State University. And we'll get this stuff out of here soon, Riley. It's just a matter of time before we get it out of here.
It's just a waiting game at this point because we do have warnings starting to pop up in northwest Georgia. So that's a good indication it's moving on out of here.
Another problem we've had are lightning strikes.
I haven't seen a decrease yet.
Yeah, the lightning is pretty wicked. In fact, I'm seeing some, let's look at an image on WEX 05. This apparently is a fire that was caused by a lightning strike. And this was in Winston County at Natural Bridge. This is Mount Vernon Baptist Church, according to the report. This is not an official report, but again, obviously that structure is a total loss, and the lightning has just been tremendous out there today. And we've had fires last night. We had a fire at Leeds Primary School from a lightning strike, and a fire at a house in northern Shelby County from a lightning strike. So again, it goes back to what I've said for years, lightning is frightening. Let's go back to the radar. We're live at 3:23. And this is James Spann. Riley Blackwell is here. We've been with you since this line moved into the northwestern corner of the state around noon today. And again, the line runs from around Fort Payne up toward Mentone and Valley Head, then down to Weiss Lake in Cherokee County, down to Jacksonville, Ohatchee, city of Talladega, down to Childersburg, Calera, and Jemison. and all up and down the line. Notice the lightning count, that's 1,146 lightning strikes in 10 minutes in that zone. That's a lot. So that's one thing. You don't want to be outside because of that. But the main concern has been these strong, damaging straight line winds within the line. But let's remind everybody, once it passes, you're done with a severe weather threat for this afternoon. Gadsden, you're done with it. Birmingham, you're done with it. Aniana, Albertville, Boaz, Gunnersville, you're done with it. The rain has ended back in northwest Alabama. I would expect probably a nice sunset this evening. We've seen evidence in the models that a second line might form later tonight and tomorrow morning, but the atmosphere has been totally worked over by this, which means the chance of severe storms would be relatively low. The main concern, of course, it's all the stuff we've seen here for the past couple of hours.
And some good news coming out of Birmingham. They're thinking about downgrading the severe thunderstorm warning in Cleburne to a special weather statement, which is basically a step down.
Yeah, and that's the thing. The wind velocities have come down, and I think we've all noticed that. And remember, to be severe, you need 58 mile per hour winds or greater. And I will say the reports that have been coming in, they have decreased over East Alabama. I probably had 32 reports of tornadoes today. We've just been hit by a tornado. No, you've been hit by straight line winds. And I know that you can have twisting damage like a tornado with eddies that come off this. This is all straight line. I've been doing this a long time, and trust me, if there was a tornado, we'd tell you, but we tried to communicate the urgency of paying attention to severe thunderstorm warnings during the course of the day today. Yeah, it's been a rough day. And again, it's going to take a while to get everything all cleaned up for sure and get the power back on.
121,000.
121,000, goodness. Let's go to WEXO 5. And this is from Tannehill State Park. We were there a couple of weeks ago. I love that park. It's a beautiful park. And again, that's a smaller tree that came down on a camper there. But we were out at Trade Days at Tannehill. There's a tree down. So there's a tree down on a road there. And this is so common. People are saying, where is all this? It's everywhere. It is really hard to find a county that has not had issues with down trees on roads and power lines. And again, the advice I can give you is just to check Apple Maps, Google Maps, Waze, any of these modern mapping programs with real-time traffic. I think our app, the 3340 app, does that as well. And you can see where you've got traffic backups, and in many cases, the backups are related to down trees. And we've also had reports of some multiple car accidents today on interstates that could be an issue as well, but it's going to be a little tricky driving because of all of the debris and trees on roads like that. And remember, again, I know I've said this a lot, but we've had tragic loss of life due to electrocution. After some events like this, if you come across a power line, you assume it's live. Don't touch it, whatever you do. I mean, that could, the electrocution problem would be severe. You just stay away from it, wait on the power company, and they'll come out and take care of that. But again, so many roads are just impassable because of not just small trees, but really large trees in many cases. So again, it's been a really, really rough ride. And again, we've got folks in various parts of the region shooting some video. And once we get what time did the news come on? 6 o'clock on Saturday?
Yeah, 6 o'clock today.
So at 6 o'clock, we'll be able to summarize all of this in a logical form and kind of present the damage. So let's go back to the radar here. It's 3:28, and we have a line of strong to severe storms in East Alabama. The storms are running from Weiss Lake in Cherokee County down to Jacksonville, coming into Anniston and Oxford, city of Talladega, Childersburg, down to Jemison in Chilton County. In advance of the line, we have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect for Cherokee, Cleburne, Calhoun, Talladega, Chilton, and the northwestern part of Coosa County. And these storms will be sweeping into Georgia fairly soon, and Again, this is an issue mainly for the northern half of the state. If you're in South Alabama, it's been a beautiful day. Gulf Coast looking good, but it's been a problem for North Alabama. Thousands of trees have been blown down, and as of this moment, we have 121,119 in the state with no power. And it's going to take a while to get everybody back online. Well, many trees have gone down across roads, and some roads are impassable, so be aware of that. And again, it's just kind of a mess out there. We were afraid this was going to happen. We did our best to communicate this morning to pay close attention to severe thunderstorm warnings on a day like today. And we hopefully, I think people have. We've had no reports of any injuries despite all of this.
Yeah, we're getting a lot of comments on Facebook about no power. Rockledge. Got some happy birthdays in there for you. Lights out on 78 between Adamsville and Pratt City. Skelton and Gardendale.
I never figured out the deal where people argue with us about some guy just called me an ugly word. Bad, cussing, ugly talk. That wasn't you, was it?
That was my burner.
I knew it. Yeah. No, because he said, well, we were hit by a tornado and you're a blah, blah, blah liar. People are really passionate about that. I understand. Guys, listen, I'm old as dirt. I've been through so many of these things, and there's no tornadoes today. This is all straight line wind. I promise. I'm not trying to make people mad, or it is what it is. We just live in a very angry society these days. Some of these people can cuss the horns off a bull. Anyway, and again, they're seeing a lot of scud, and, low-hanging clouds, and that's got nothing to do with a tornado. Let's see here. Let's go to WEXO 5 real quick, more viewer video. And we thank you for the video because it is our window to the world. Without that, we'd have a hard time knowing exactly what's going on right down at the ground. Looks like a pretty large tree has come down there. Again, this is from Tannehill State Park a little earlier. Let's go to the Jacksonville Skycam real quick if we can. I think conditions have improved there, Riley.
Yeah, starting to calm down. Might still be some showers. Let me get up there. Yeah, it's like the back end of the worst of it's going through. Looks like heavy rain down near Piedmont.
So again, still raining in Jacksonville with thunder and lightning, but the conditions are slowly improving. And again, the one good thing about this is the fact that the storms are moving along pretty quickly. Let's go back to WEXO 5 for a minute. Again, this is why we encourage folks not to drive. It's been looking like this today. That's earlier when the storms were coming through the Birmingham Metro. That's along Interstate 65. And at one point, a pretty good-sized tree came down along Interstate 65 up around Blunt Springs and Hayden. But I think they have cleared that. And of course, conditions are much, much better now. And again, there's a look at I-65 North where that tree was located. But so much of this, it's just a big mess. It's going to take a lot of cleaning up here. And of course, some trees have come down on homes today. But again, we're very blessed in that we've heard of no reports of any injuries, which is always our goal here. That's the one metric we pay attention to. It's loss of life and injury counts, and we've heard of no injuries so far today. But again, it's been pretty rough. And again, you look at that and watch what happens here. And, yeah, it's been that kind of a day. That kind of a day. So let's go back to the radar. All right, so let's kind of do a tour of the storms, right? Let's start up here at Weiss Lake in Cherokee County. And the storms are now south and east of Weiss Lake. Cedar Bluff Center here, Leesburg here. 411 is right here. So the heavier storms are lined up from near Spring Garden in Cherokee County, down to Piedmont, down to Jacksonville, down to Anniston, coming into Oxford pretty soon. Big storm sitting on top of Talladega, up here toward Munford in Talladega County. Got a good downpour sitting at Childersburg. The storm's a little more cellular here looking instead of linear. Good downpour at Childersburg coming into Sylacauga. These are moving to the east-southeast. And thunderstorms in progress now north of Clanton. And again, they don't look quite as intense as they were earlier, but still producing some strong winds. Big downpour sitting on top of Lay Lake. And again, that's all moving to the southeast. And again, notice with all of these storms, huge amounts of lightning. So even if the wind velocities have come down a smidgen, the lightning is still really intense with all of these. And these storms will continue moving to the south and east, and these will be in Georgia soon. And again, we're seeing evidence in modeling there could be perhaps another line later tonight or tomorrow morning. But again, often when you see something like this, the atmosphere has been totally worked over, and it's pretty hard for another round of severe storms to get going. But as always, we will watch things very carefully. So, Riley, I got to get my charger. You take it for a minute, and I'll be right back.
All right.
It's charging time.
All right, so we have severe thunderstorm warning stretching from Chilton County to Cherokee County. Now, I live in Chilton County. My wife's saying the wind is starting to pick up in Chilton County, and showers and thunderstorms going through Jemison Thorsby right now. This is a 31 that goes from Clanton to Thorsby, so really a long 31 over Lay Lake. Right about here's Waxahachie Marina and all the Layport marinas. Go further off to the north and east. Childersburg, got a heavier downpour on top right now. Talladega, we got some rain. Lincoln, actually Lincoln's in the clear. Montford, Oxford, some showers. Anniston, showers. Heavier rain, Weaver, Melrose, Jacksonville, Piedmont. Now this particular feature has been interesting. A little bit of a higher reflectivity value just south of Piedmont. Eventually going to be moving into the northern portions of Cleburne County. Got one shower in Cleburne County right now just south of I-20, but that's not why it's warned. We still have this pretty expansive line of showers and thunderstorms moving through. Now in terms of the lightning counter, we still have high lightning values down in Chilton County, parts of Talladega County. So still along this line, even if it's not producing the winds it once was, lightning can still be extremely dangerous. Now, I want to see if we have any cameras out to the west in Cleburne County. We have one just south of Heflin, which actually might be a decent camera if we can get that pulled up. I'm not sure which way that's looking. It's all right, we'll keep an eye on that one for a second. That's I-20 at Almond Street. So yeah, we'll keep an eye on that for a second. It's almost due south of Heflin. So as this line moves off to the east, might be able to get a good look at that. And these storms are moving rather quick as well. We don't know if they're going to talk anything about anything for Clay County, but there's showers just northwest of Lineville, Union, Bowden Grove. But right now, that Clay County's quiet. This little feature I was talking about earlier pushed through Chilton County. It's an outflow boundary, but now we have some rain, thunderstorms starting to pop up, Lomax. This is 22 that goes towards Maplesville, 145 that goes to all the marinas on Lay Lake. Very heavy rain right now. Don't really expect much of a hail threat, but we'll take a look and see if we have anything. Maybe we had some small hail up near Talladega Springs, Hidden Valley, as well as up here near Childersburg. But other than that, yeah, these storms are overall starting to weaken in terms of a wind threat and a hail threat. But I'm not seeing much of anything beyond that. And take a look at this to the west. West of I-65, I mean, it is clear, dry, well, dry relatively speaking. It's not raining anymore, but I mean, things have calmed down pretty significantly. And even with that threat, we have this outflow boundary, this really thin line stretching from Demopolis to Marion, north of Valley Grande and Selma, up to Clanton. If anything were to occur, we have slightly cooled air right there with that boundary coming through. So we could have some more showers and thunderstorms pop up down there. But of course, that's out of our area. And James is back. He got his chargers, maybe got him a quick little nap. He's good to go again.
I slept once in 1973. It's like I'm some kind of miracle of modern science. Some people don't need a lot of sleep.
This is a Chattanooga destructive severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, what happens, they'll put these tags on these warnings up here, and when you see the flashing polygons, that represents destructive, which means the winds could be pretty high, so they've ramped up here, approaching the city of Chattanooga. So again, if you're watching us on the live stream, just be aware that that storm that's near Chattanooga is apparently packing a genuine punch. And
The lightning's just not really going down the further south you get. We're below 1,000, but not by much. And in terms of the power outages, we have 128,013.
And we will never know the exact number of trees that have been blown down, but there have been a lot. A lot. I would suggest probably thousands across the state. Of course, a lot of them are out in areas where, kind of out in the country, but still, it's been pretty rough.
It looks like we have a watch being canceled. I'll go back to that real quick and check on that. Yep, look at that. Chilton County still in the severe thunderstorm watch, even though the rain's pushing through. Coosa County, Talladega County, Calhoun, Cherokee, Cleburne, but Clay County, Randolph counties. But I mean, maybe 2 hours those would be cleared, maybe, if that.
All right, so let's see here. We'll try and pull up some more of the viewer images so we can watch it together here in just a second. And thanks to everybody for taking the time to send these in. Let's go to WEXO 5. And again, I'm sorry, I might have to redo WEXO 5 because I had to change the charger here. And again, thanks to all of you for these images because it is our window to the world. Now you see it. And again, these are all recent images, and of course all of these images are coming in from the eastern side of the state with that line of storms, and this scene has been repeated countless times across Alabama, trees down on roads. And that's the problem when you're driving, and especially out in a country road, you take a turn and you don't know that tree is there. So if you got to drive this evening, be really careful and watch out for downed trees and power lines. There's going to be some video here. Now, what is this thing? Riley, explain that to me.
Let me get a little closer. Is that one of those dealership waving arm things?
I want to say that thing is a giraffe. What is that?
Yeah, is that a play pool?
That's got to be a giraffe.
Yeah, it's a giraffe.
A giraffe pool. You got to do what you got to do to protect care of the important things, you know? Because that thing would blow halfway to East Aboga. I want to say this video is taken in Jacksonville down at ground level. We watched the Skycam up on top of the Houston Coal Library, and it was pretty rough on top of the building up there when it came through. But again, that's what it looked like down at ground level. And for those of you that are in the path of the line, this is what you have to look forward to, is this kind of action. And again, I've just got so many of these images, and of course people are asking, where is this? And I can't give you specific locations. Again, the advice is to just pull up any modern mapping app on your phone and watch for the long delays and long backups and try and stay away from that because that would represent something like that. By the way, the latest power outage count, 128,013. 128,013 across Alabama. And you know, these are not little trees, Riley. These are not little pea trees here. These are big ones.
Yeah, we saw one earlier with a cat going to the bathroom in front of it. Had a huge uprooting. It's so,
Yeah.
I mean, these storms were certainly packing a punch.
Now look at here, that state bird stayed in place. I mean, let's give these guys an attaboy here. I don't know what they got holding it down, but a tree is down on that structure back there, but the trampoline stayed in place, which is unusual.
We also had pictures from Valerie Bell, one of our reporters, about trees down on a house. Centerpoint Fire Department sent in.
Yes, you know, they have had, goodness, I cannot imagine working in a fire department setting today. Oh yeah, there you go. That's what you expect the state bird to look like on a day like today, those things. And sometimes you wind up with one of those things in your yard, you have no idea where they came from.
Free trampoline.
There you go, if you can somehow reconstruct it. But it's been a very rough day across the state today. So let's go back to the radar, kind of do a reset here. We're at 344. And again, on a day like today, I just can't give you a specific spot like what we can with a tornado. We have a line of storms. Within the entire line, we have the capacity for strong straight line winds. The velocities have come down a little bit here. They're not quite as strong as they were 1 hour ago, but they are still capable of producing damaging straight line winds. The line of storms now stretching from northern Cleveland County up into southern Cherokee County around Spring Garden, then curving down to White Plains and Oxford, curving down to Munford, then down to Sylacauga, and then down to Lake Mitchell near Clanton. And the whole line is continuing to move to the east. And again, this will be in Georgia pretty soon. And we will have a nice break in the rain this evening. A lot of folks are asking about the evening activities. And I think for a pretty good chunk of the state, we should be in pretty good shape for a few hours. There could be an additional line. Some of the CAMs, the CAM is convective allowing models, the high resolution models. They've suggested that just maybe we could have another line of storms later tonight or tomorrow morning, but the air is totally worked over from this kind of thing, and understand that the odds of additional severe storms, I'd say, would be low, not zero, but fairly low. And again, looking at so many different reports coming in here, and almost everything we're seeing, it's trees that are down.
I just emailed you a picture our assignment manager sent out, trees down on a house in Adamsville, but it didn't look like that significant damage. It almost looks like the tree just bounced off the roof. I think what kind of roof that guy had.
Yeah, it looks like just some big limbs in that case. Again, I'm going to load up some more images here to show in just a second. And again, thanks to everybody for taking the time to send these in.
Now, somebody's saying on Facebook there was reports of a tornado on Bessemer near Arby's 459. No, there was not.
No.
We watched that coming on 459 through Galleria. Now, it was wicked, I will say. It was very wicked, but no tornadoes. There was no rotational velocity associated with any of these storms.
Wasn't that Cusser guy, was it?
I don't think so.
Okay, yeah. I get. Listen, you cannot hurt my feelings. You cannot hurt my feelings because I have no feelings left to hurt. Let's go to WEXO 5, and again, we'll look at some more images coming in from the viewers. And again, that's going to be some video. I want to say this is northeast Alabama. This is up in DeKalb County, where, again, the velocity signatures were not as high up in the Tennessee Valley as they were further to the south, but they still were pretty good storm coming through there. Oh boy.
Ooh.
Oh boy. That's not good. And that dog is going, what? What? These animals are baffled by this. Is that a guy sitting in that truck? I mean,
kind of looks like.
You know, goodness.
Maybe he's just pulling it out. He already got it loaded in the bed.
Wow. That's a huge tree. Alabama state bird all over the place today, in flight. And let's see, this is going to be some video. But again, this line entered the northwestern part of the state today. You know, look at this guy. He's going, what just happened here? That tree makes that little guy look tiny. That is a huge tree. But again, we're so thankful we've heard of no injuries today. And that's, again, out of all the metrics we see, that's the most important metric, is the fact that we have no reports of anybody injured. And obviously, with a situation like this, on a day like today, it could have been pretty bad. So we'll go back to the radar. We'll stay with this for a while longer. And again, we typically don't go wall to wall with severe thunderstorm warnings, but we thought with this being such a high impact event, it would be the right thing to do. And again, if you're north and west of this line, you're done with it. You're good. The concern, it would be Ashland and Lineville. The storm's coming to Clay County right now, coming off Mount Cheahaw, the storm right on top of Cheahaw State Park. That'll be in Ashland and Lineville here in a few minutes. It'll be coming into Wedowee, Lake Wedowee, Roanoke in Randolph County, Wadley. The storms will keep on pushing down toward Alexander City. They might stay north of Lake Martin. It's a close call. It might clip the northern part of Lake Martin. And I guarantee you on a June day, there's a lot of people on the lake down here. But again, if you're on Lake Wedowee, I would want to get off now. You don't want to be out on the water in a situation like this. And again, notice 877 lightning strikes in the last 10 minutes in this sector. The lightning count is tremendously high. Still potential for strong straight line winds. We have severe thunderstorm warnings in effect now for Cleburne County, for extreme east and southern Talladega County, extreme northwestern Coosa County, and a small part of Chilton County. The storms in Chilton County are pretty weak. I mean, almost all the issue, it's east of the Coosa River. And most likely the storms will stay north of Interstate 85. I know that Auburn had a baseball game at 2 o'clock, and I think they're fine there. They should stay north of there. But again, if you are in places like Ranburne, Wedowee, Woodland, Newell, Roanoke, Lake Wedowee, Ashland, Lineville, Mellow Valley, Millerville, Sylacauga, Rockford, you're going to deal with this. And again, it's been a rough ride with trees blown down all over the place. Let's go back to WEXO 5 and again, this is what we've been dealing with. Large trees, tree limbs down in so many different places. And so many roads have been blocked because of these trees that have been blown down today. I wish I could tell you specific locations, but again, there's just too many to count. And the advice, it's to simply open up a good map app with real-time traffic information. And when you see those big red strips where the traffic is totally stopped, that's just where you probably have a downed tree in a situation like that on a day like today. We've got them in so many different counties across the state. And again, this is a very, very common scene. Just saw a report here from Trussville. Trees down Happy Hollow Road, Trussville Clay Road, North Chalkville Road, Post Oak Drive, Lake Street, Lake Road. And that's just one, municipality. And with all these other...
Over an hour ago, we had a 63-mile-an-hour gust at Talladega Airport.
Wow. But that's the type of tree damage that we have seen today across the state. And it's been a pretty rough ride. So let's go back to the radar. We're here at 3. And again, we're going to stay with it for a little while longer. Again, we're about to get the storms out of here. The storms are not quite as strong as they were, but they're still capable of producing strong winds. We'll see what the Weather Service does about Clay County and Randolph to see if they issue a warning. And remember, technically, to be severe, you need 58 mile-per-hour winds or greater. And if it's under that, then they're technically not severe unless you have 1-inch diameter hail. And most of the hail reports have been small. Let me just give you some examples of trees down in Calhoun County. Pleasant Valley Road, Highway 9, Greenbrier Road, Roy Webb and Charlie Penny Road, Beck Road, multiple trees on Roy Webb. That runs from Knighton's Crossroads down to Jacksonville. Weatherbrook Lane, Reeves Road, Friendship Road, Old Piedmont Gadsden Highway, Beck Road. It just goes on and on. And these are the power counts, and let's check the statewide count. 127,000. That's the first time it's gone down. So the current power outage count is now 127,000 statewide. And we will certainly...
Yeah, Jefferson taking the brunt of that.
Yeah, and of course that's population density. In terms of percentages, the percentage of total users, the highest percentage count I'm seeing is in Winston County.
48%.
Yeah, that's not good. So again, these are percentages of outages in these various counties, but again, statewide, at least we've gone down. It's the first time I've seen that happen all afternoon. We were at 128, now we're at 127. And of course, the power companies were well aware of this situation today, and they had crews ready and they're out working. But understand, you cannot wave a magic wand and rebuild a power pole or rebuild infrastructure. It takes time and effort, and it's hard work. And so just have a little grace when it comes to the power company folks. So again, it looks like the Weather Service might consider, Riley, going with just kind of staying away from warnings and kind of downgrading things here from the looks of things. I don't see new warnings coming out, which is good.
Yeah, Gary Goggins is talking about, I think they actually issued a special weather statement for Randolph County. And, see, continues, special weather statement for Randolph County, Tallapoosa, Coosa, southeastern Chilton, Elmore.
Right. So
Yeah.
I think the basic idea is that they're going to let the warnings expire and that we've not had 58 mile per hour wind gusts in the last 30 minutes. The storm intensities have come down, and instead of warnings, they'll just have special weather statements. And understand still, if you're in Ashland, Lineville, Wedowee, Roanoke, Wadley, Mellow Valley, Millerville, Kellyton, Alexander City, you're going to have a storm and you're going to have gusty winds and thunder and lightning, but the intensities have been decreasing. As you get farther to the south, you get away from the dynamic support for severe storms with this. And again, the really higher velocities are moving into northern Georgia now, out of Alabama. Risk of severe weather is over for Anniston and Gadsden. It's over for Center, Leesburg, Weiss Lake. Still raining, but the risk of severe storms is ended there. And again, these storms will be exiting the state pretty soon. So again, it's 3:55. We'll plan on ending this around 4 o'clock. These warnings go out at 4, and if they don't reissue them, we'll stop the live stream. And again, we don't like to live stream, just hear ourselves yakking away. Nobody wants to hear the two of us yakking away. That's not good. But we thought with this high impact, widespread event, the best thing to do was to stay live. And we've been live for several hours today, so thank you. And again, we did not go live on the television side since we had no tornado warnings. We mostly went live on the socials here on Facebook and YouTube. And we thank you for doing that. Riley, plug your Facebook page and YouTube or whatever. Plug away, go.
Yeah, let's go to...
Plug yourself, let's go.
If you want to follow me, meteorologist Riley Blackwell, I can actually put it in the Facebook comments right now.
All right, do that. And again,
Give me a follow.
we're all on on social media, but we ask people to follow credible sources. There's just a lot of stuff out there you had these rogue accounts forecasting hurricanes this week and things, and finding a good credible source and sticking with them, it's just good. So follow Riley on the socials, and again, at 4 o'clock, all these warnings will be going away. The warning for southern Cleburne and eastern Talladega and western Coosa and extreme southeastern Chilton, and I don't think they're going to be reissued because the intensities have gone downhill. You might want to can we look at MXX on this thing, just for the fun of it?
Yeah.
Kind of give it a different angle. We're going to go to the Maxwell Air Force Base radar, which is looking in from the south.
If it's not currently yet. Oh, it's actually working.
Yeah, we've had some radar maintenance issues, but it's back up and running. And again, we've got storms that are non-severe down into Watauga and Dallas counties around Selma, back up toward Billingsley. But again, nothing severe. Again, Lake Martin is right here. Obviously, a lot of folks are watching the storms carefully, but the good news, they're weaker. But still, there's a lot of lightning involved here. Check out the lightning count, 698 strikes in that zone in the past 10 minutes. And again, that's going to be a situation where you just don't want to be on the water with that kind of lightning in progress. And again, all the images I'm seeing here are these big trees that have come down. It has been a very rough day, and it's going to take a while to clean up this mess and get everybody's power back on. Let's go to WEX 05 if we can, real quick. There you go. Look at the size of these things that have come down today. Again, these are not small trees. These are huge. Goodness gracious. And obviously the problem, in a lot of cases, these trees can fall on structures. cars and things like that. And again, it's been that kind of day. And so many of these trees come down on power lines and the power goes out. And again, the latest outage count is, well, it's back up again. I knew it. Never brag on the power outage count going down, it's back up. 131,597. 131,000, no power in the state. Goodness. All right, back to the radar. So in a minute, all these warnings will go away and the storms continue to weaken below severe limits. And accordingly, we'll be able to wrap up our coverage here in that we have no severe storms in progress. But understand, if you're in Lineville, Ashland, Wedowee, Roanoke, Wadley, Mellow Valley, Millerville, Rockford, Alexander City, Daviston, you're going to have a strong storm. You might have winds of 35, 40 miles an hour, way below what we had earlier today. And creepy looking clouds, but remember, creepy clouds don't make a storm severe. Heavy rain, that doesn't have anything to do with severe criteria. Not creepy clouds, not frequent lightning, but hail and wind. That's it. 1-inch diameter hail or larger, or 58-mile-per-hour winds or greater. And these storms are below those limits as they have weakened, and they should continue to do so slowly as they drop south and east. So there's the warnings going away there. That thing's going to go away in just a minute. So we have no warnings in effect now. So at this point,